All right, benchwarmers, listen up. It's going to get hot at the ballpark, hot at the gym, and hot at your kid's sports practice. So you need something that does two things at once. Keeps your drink cold and lets you rep your squad in style. That is where Frost Buddy comes in. With Frost Buddy, you can represent your favorite college teams from Alabama all the way to Xavier while keeping your drinks colder than a small forward missing 12 shots in a row. And if you are keeping something warm, they can do that too. Hotter than a center who just made 12 straight in the paint. The Universal XL Frost Buddy can handle almost anything. Traditional 12-ounce cans, Gatorade, sports drinks, slim cans, tall boys, Arizona iced tea cans, and even bottles. That is why they call it Universal. And to cap it all off, literally, you can add a 100% leak-proof lid, the perfect finish, just like your favorite team closing out a big win. And speaking of favorite teams, Frost Buddy has you covered there. MLB fans can pick their favorite team and choose from styles in the Cooperstown Collection or Legacy Collection. More of an NHL fan? Frost Buddy and All Gloves Off Sports Media have you covered with 120 styles of Universal Buddies and To-Go Buddies, plus your favorite NCAA teams. And it gets even better. Frost Buddy has 40,000 plus reviews, a 30-day free trial, and free shipping on orders over $60. Not buying for a sports fan? No problem. They also have several 32-ounce bottle buddies and full rainbow of designs, perfect for as a gift for people in your life who may not be locked in on the game day like you are. They come with a sip and chug lid, no slip bottom, a detachable strap, and yes, they are cup holder friendly. So scan the code, chill the liquid, and rep your team with a great combination of Frost Buddy and All Gloves Off Sports Media. You are covered wherever game day takes you. Go to frostbuddy.com/redhotreds and get yours today. That's frostbuddy.com/REDHOTREDS and get yours today.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.
Oh, here we are, bench warmers. It is a special episode. If you are tuning in for the first time, this is going to be going out to a much bigger audience than what we had previous, different audience. I won't necessarily say bigger because we have done pretty well, and there is a reason why we are in the situation that we are in. My name is Jimmy Pilato, co-host Niko Bryant, that you can also see on the screen, rocking his Denver Nuggets gear. As always, we are two podcasters from Colorado. We are very happy to be now officially on the All Gloves Off Sports Media Network. Not necessarily walking away from Variety Sports Network. Like, we can still collab with those guys. That has kind of been, it's in a different stage than where it was when we first started. This was a very cool opportunity that was, they sought us out. They sent us a DM, and you just saw one of the new things about what the show is going to have. We now have advertisements. The network is sponsored. So we have Frost Buddy. You'll hear from another one that is coming up a little bit later on in the show. If you are a longtime bench warmer, nothing is going to change. Still goes through our YouTube channel, still goes through all of our socials. All of our socials stay the same. If you are new, if you are part of the All Gloves Off Sports family, if you listen to the Red Hot Reds, which you heard in the advertisement, I know the Sports Pulpit is another show that's on here. If you listen to any of those shows and you're just finding us, we appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we do something that entertains you. You want to follow, subscribe, hit our subscribe button, hit the network subscribe button. All Gloves Off Sports Media. It's a very exciting opportunity, and I know we've been working on this for a while behind the scenes, and Niko, it finally happened. So this is our third network. It's been 7 years, and it's our third network, and it just, we're moving in a steady track.
It's an exciting time. I'm excited to work with those guys over there, and obviously have our show on different platforms and be able to listen to us live and listen to us during the day also. So it's exciting, that's for sure.
Yeah, so the way that it'll work, it'll be on our channels first. If you find us through All Gloves Off, which will be about 24 hours after our episode goes live on our feed, make sure you go over and subscribe at FEOTB Pod. We have a website, feotbpod.org. You can check out all of the content that we have there. We have YouTube videos, Rise of the Roadrunner YouTube series, blogs that we put out fairly regularly. I blog about the video games that I play because I'm that much of a dork and isolated in my basement that sometimes I need I create characters, and then I make the characters, it's like action figures, Niko. I still have not graduated from the imaginary play with action figures. We still love Variety Sports Network, but this is a very exciting opportunity. So like we said, we appreciate the time that we had with VSN. We feel like
I'll speak for myself, and I'm sure Niko feels along the same lines. I feel like we brought a lot to that network, and we helped out a lot of really good people and met a lot of really good people, and took some things from different shows. But as we mentioned when we first started the show, when I came over to the apartment that you're sitting in, had my notebook, and we were still brainstorming ideas. I think Top of the Mountain might have been one of them, from skiing down the pass. I don't know what the other titles were for the podcast, but when we sat down, we said eventually, we're going to keep moving this thing forward, and that will be in steps. And this is another step. So we're very excited for all of that great things. There is no fallout. There is not going to be any internet drama. I still love Brandon. I still love Darren. I still love all of the guys, Logan, Variety Sports Network, Missouri. I'm still not, St. Louis, you can still kick rocks. But now we got a whole new batch of people to make angry, because I'm sure that there's somebody out there that is yet to hear one of our rants, and it's going to get there. But I don't know. I was saying, I was going back and forth with the Red Hot Reds guy, and we were talking about the World Cup game. And I said, I think Niko and I are going to have very different takes. I feel like he's going to have a different idea because he pays attention more. I definitely, if you wanted a picture of the bandwagon fan for the U.S. men's national team this year in the World Cup, you can just crop out my face here on the screen. And I was definitely a bandwagon fan. I got excited just like everybody else. But I felt like we were going to have different takes, because what I saw on Monday, I was just kind of thinking about it. Like, I watch Ted Lasso, and sometimes I want to emulate the shows that I watch. If I were to go in and be the coach of that team, I would break 5 clipboards on the sidelines. I would have thrown chairs. I would have asked if anybody is willing to play with a little bit of fight and a little bit of passion. Is anybody willing to stop Belgium from just walking into the goalie box? Anybody, literally anybody at this point, anybody from the stands. I know we're in Seattle. Seattle plays a lot of soccer. Can any of you fans please stop this Belgian onslaught? Because I have not seen Belgium fight like this since Jean-Claude Van Damme was in the freaking Kumite in Bloodsport. That was so not ridiculous. I won't say ridiculous, because obviously that's the outcome that was always going to happen. But damn, we are so behind. Like, we are so
it was a very rude awakening. Let me put it that way. In a game where after Belgium went down 2-0 to Senegal, we're like, oh, maybe Belgium isn't going to be very good, right? Then they have that.
They're not even top 5. They're number 9, I believe, in the world in the UEFA rankings. They are nowhere close to the top tier.
They have that heroic comeback at Senegal in the first round, and you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe this team is very beatable. And then you come to realization, being like, yeah, this Belgium team still has its golden generation, quote unquote, golden generation of
that gold is
Trossard, like that
old.
That golden generation is on the last half of its legs. Yeah. And we're obviously,
they did have their first goal scored by a 20-year-old stud striker.
I mean, they have
21-year-old stud striker.
Talent, but Belgium is a country that has consistently been a World Cup flop. Like they're a team that loses in one of these first 2 rounds. I believe this is the first time they've been to the quarterfinals, and I think maybe the last 3 World Cups. So
they love playing us in World Cups.
It's a very interesting thing, because Belgium's good. Belgium's very good, but the U.S. did not face talent that was on the level of Belgium. And no offense to Bosnia, yeah, they beat Italy. They weren't on that level. No offense to, Turkey was the closest competition to that. And yeah, we played our B team. But if Turkey was actually playing for something, that outcome could have turned differently. You look back to the friendlies leading up to the World Cup. One thing the U.S., Canada, and Mexico did not have as a disadvantage when you are the host country is you're an automatic bid. So that means you don't have to qualify. You don't have to go through all the tumultuous
you were very
games
well
to figure
rested.
it all out. And you run into a situation where, like, okay, you schedule a friendly against Belgium in January, which you lose 5-1 against. By the way,
they dominated you just the same way.
You schedule a friendly against Germany and a month before the tournament starts, you lose 2-1. Those and I believe there was one more in there. I can't remember who the third friendly was. But
there was one other one, but I can't think of it.
Relying on MLS players. And that was the detriment of it. It was like think about the non-MLS players that were outstanding. Balogun, who plays for PSV, obviously player of the tournament for this team. Right there behind him, Malik Tillman, who was the next standout player.
I would say player of the game for the United States against Belgium by far. Not just because he scored the goal, he was one of the few people that I saw with a little bit of juice chasing the ball.
He's a guy that you build around, and then you out of the defensive side, there's only one guy back there that should be sticking around, and it's Alex Freeman, the 20-year-old on the right back, who actually has shown really great promise on facing Troussard in Belgium, facing Esmail, the left winger from Bosnia. I'm not going to pronounce his name. Try to because I messed up.
Bosnian names are incredibly hard.
But the makeup of this team, you look at it, is like Matt Freese, the goaltender situation. I saw Tim Howard. Tim Howard talk about this before the tournament and talking about the friendlies and everything. Like,
Tim Howard, by the way, a amazing American goaltender.
Why are you starting Matt? Why are you not starting Matt Freese in the Gold Cup last year? Why are you if you're going to start Matt Freese in the World Cup? Why are you not starting him in the friendlies? Why are you not starting him in the Gold Cup last year? Why are you going to Matt Turner? Okay, if it's Matt Turner, then he's the guy that you need to ride with. Two guys with not any experience. Chris Brady, the third goalie, was getting run in the friendly matches. These are MLS goalies.
Yeah, not good ones.
Matt Turner is not an MLS goalie, but he's a backup in Europe and does not get playtime. Okay, like it looked like an MLS backline against a Premier League front. Like Troussard, it's a team that didn't even put out Kevin De Bruyne. The start.
They started Niko. They started their backups against us.
It's not their backups, but
even Zlatan said their best players did not start against the United States, and they did not care. It was basically a slap in the
last
face.
Couple World Cups. I wouldn't say Kevin De Bruyne is that level. What he was last World Cup or the World Cup before that. But Lukaku,
the
obviously,
touches,
the
difference.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, it's just the skill. Like literally the skill. Belgians can stop the ball where they want it. They can tap it with the back of their foot where they want it, and it goes where they want it to go 85% of the time, I'll say. The United States looked like every time they kicked the ball, they had anti-gravity boots on the ball, and it just went poof, launched into the air. Oh, that's nowhere near the guy that I was aiming for. Too bad.
Yeah, I mean, there was a clear difference. There was just a clear difference in the level of play and level of skill. And like I said, you're running a 40-year-old MLS defender out there as well. And Tim Ream, that did not help you at all. Chris Richards, I think he's a very good defender. Dude was coming off an injury from his season at Crystal Palace. Like the back line is a problem. The back line is a problem, and it's very, very funny because look at this game, the exact same game result 4 World Cups ago, like you mentioned in 2010, where it was a 2-1 game, and that game would have been 8-1, 9-1 if it wasn't for Tim Howard, who had I think the greatest performance from a goalkeeper in World Cup history because the amount of saves he had in that game. I think it's still to this day the most saves in a World Cup game. And you look at this team, and you're like, you know what? Tillman's goal. Right? Free kick, freak bounce off the head of the Belgian player, goes in. You're facing one of the best, if not the best goaltender in the world, in Thibaut Courtois over there in Belgium, right? You cannot have that mistake, right? Where you like, all right, you got a tie game. We let one in. We got to play our game now. You cannot defensively just lose sight of the ball and just let them pick it up and put it in the back of the net 40 seconds later. That's the difference between a good team and a team that's figuring it out still.
Well, it was... Here's the thing. I don't know if they could play the same way that they did when they opened the tournament against Paraguay, because that's what I said. They can't try and play the European style. If you go up against a team that's that much better than you, that's what we see a lot in all these other sports. They can make you play their style. So I wanted the U.S. to play attacking. A, I don't think they could have. But B, I have yet to see a nation, now I won't say a nation, but a national team turtle. Like they look like France in a global conflict. The way that they just back down. And I saw Landon Donovan say this. I want to get Pulisic out here in the open because
before
Landon
we get to Pulisic, because we can go on about that. To counter what you just said, why the heck can we not just park?
I wanted him
because Paraguay beat Germany doing that. Cape Verde had Argentina Messi on the ropes doing that. Egypt did the same thing. That is not a horrible way to play soccer.
No, that's the strategy that we win with.
Exactly. And we should have done that instead of just going, we're going to play our defenders all the way up and have Serginho Dest and Alex Freeman basically be fourth midfielders instead of defenders. And that's the problem you run into. It was like, I'm sick and tired of this. Well, we weren't good enough, this kind of thing. There were teams that were worse than us, that made it as far as us, if not as far as us. Switzerland, for instance, that just parked the fucking bus against a worse Colombia team, got that to 0-0, ugly fucking game, and guess what? They won in penalty kicks, right? Like that's an ugly way to winning, but when you are the down and out, we are not the fucking favorites. We're not even close to the favorites. You have to have smart strategy to do that. And I love Poachy Ball. Poachy Ball was incredible, but I think
they didn't play Poachy.
In that.
They didn't play Poachy Ball on Monday night. That was not any of the strategy.
The way they played.
No, they totally went to some sort of EPL, like again, I'm showing my Ted Lasso, but a 4-4-2 or that was all they were doing, or 4-6-1. Like it was terrible. But the mentality is weak. The mentality is weak. There's no other way that you can say that outside of a handful of players. Your most talented player, the golden boy of this generation, the guy who scored for your national team, youngest in history. I'm still waiting to see what he's going to accomplish at the world level and how he's going to elevate this, quote, golden generation. I will sit here and say Landon Donovan's generation, that is our golden generation. We have yet to find the next bloom of that talent hotbed. But that's what Landon Donovan said about, like, do I want a guy to go out there and absolutely wreck his life playing through an injury? No. I think that the Halliburton is a good example. Kevin Durant is a good example. If you are hurt, you know that you're hurt and you know that you're playing at a risk. But somebody should pull you off the field instead of you taking yourself off to go sit in those luxury-ass chairs that they have on the sidelines and cry and wipe your eyes with the flag that you so poorly represented. And I know that he knows this. I'm not trying to be a jerk for a jerk's sake. But when you play for your country, there has to be a different mentality. Like, think of Danny Rojas when he kicked the ball through Van Damme's face. Like, when he playing for Mexico, there is no friends, there is no teammates. I play for my country, and that's all. And Pulisic does not. I hope he feels that way. The way that his actions were on Monday night, he does not play the game of soccer that way for the United States. He does not have that fire that you need for the United States.
I mean, like, the biggest problem with Pulisic is not that necessarily just his performance in the World Cup, because obviously everyone knows that his performance didn't put one in the back of the net was not good enough, right? The guy that wears the number 10 shirt for your country, like, it's supposed to be the guy for your team. And obviously he did not perform that. But I think the biggest headache of all this was last year's Gold Cup where he decided he was going to sit out, right? And let the MLS players, you have guys like Diego Luna, who was sat on the bench scoring goals for your team last summer, and guys that stepped up along the way in Pulisic's absence because he wanted to take time to be ready for this year's World Cup, and then he wasn't ready for this. He
wasn't, but he also injured himself in his.
That's what I'm saying. That's the biggest frustration. Is like he took last summer off. There's players that took last summer off to be prepared for this summer, and
we got wiped in our CONCACAF tournament, and that gave everybody else more ammunition of why we shouldn't be in this tournament.
And some of them are well prepared for it, and some of them weren't. And Pulisic, unfortunately, wasn't. The worst thing about Pulisic and his problem is that, like, he plays in countries in Europe and plays for AC Milan. He played for Chelsea, played for Dortmund, played for these teams. He was not the number one guy. He is a better number 2, number 3 guy where the focus is not on him.
I think that's why they had so much success, because Flo was the number 1.
And unfortunately, with Pulisic's status and everyone knowing that he is the guy in clubs in Europe, everyone knows they plays him as the number 1 and makes him negated entirely. And I mean, look. He is a part of one of the worst moments of U.S. soccer history. He was on the team in 2018 that failed to qualify. He was on the 2022 team where he didn't have a great tournament either. And here he is in 2026. And here he is in 2026 where he also has the mistake of not doing anything for your country, where guys like Balogun, who comes off playing on a lesser team, Lake Tillman having the great performance he has, like guys like that just come out of nowhere. You're like, yeah, this is what the team should be built on, and it's very, very frustrating. But at the same time, like, maybe look, he's just not the guy. Like he's not the number 10. He is a number 7. He's a number 9, a guy that is a winger that will be a complementary piece. But if this country wants to make deep runs, the World Cup, Pulisic is not the guy. He can still be a complementary piece. I still think he's a very, very good player. I just think that if you get him healthy and have him be the secondary option and a guy that is the feeder and the guy that plays off ball more than the on ball situations, then he may thrive more. And unfortunately, the depth of this roster outside Balogun, it's not very, very good. It's not very good.
The cupboards are bare.
It makes it a
Old
lot
Mother
harder.
Hubbard went to the cupboard to fetch her old dog a bone and went to the U.S. locker room and went, oh, shit.
It makes it a lot harder when your bench is nothing, right? It makes it a lot harder.
Yeah, I mean, who is the U.S. going to sub in when they go down 3-1 last night? Nobody. Nobody. There's nobody else on the bench. Like, you might as well just take one off and play 10 versus 11. I will say, Belgium put us in our place. Spain is scary. Like, Spain is scary.
Spain has not given up a goal. Let me put
no,
it this way,
that's
okay? We
Spain's
would have
defense is
gotten
incredible.
annihilated if we somehow would have lost.
It's probably better for us not to have taken the embarrassment at the hands of the Spaniards, even though that would be further than we've ever gone into a World Cup since 2002, I believe. 2002 is the furthest that we've gone since the first team that made it to the semifinals. And that's the other thing, too. This expanded format, yes, it got more teams in, but damn it, Niko, it feels like it's the same glass ceiling. We, quote, won a knockout game. But in reality, that was a knockout game that would have been a final group stage game to see if you qualify for the knockout bracket in a normal World Cup tournament.
And that's a very, very different feeling than obviously you have after the first game because you have all these high hopes and then you get knocked down. Because I heard Taylor Twellman say this, a guy who was very famously on that 2018 rant that said you played in a pitch in Trinidad and couldn't win, right? That was the guy who said it on ESPN. He came out and said it very, very publicly, and I think it's a very, very good point. It's like, why is Paraguay? Why is Cape Verde? Why is Cote d'Ivoire? Why are all these smaller countries than the United States competing against top teams? It's because they play in tournaments that they consistently play against them.
Yeah.
Like no offense to Mexico and fucking Canada and the Fiji Islands, they aren't the level of Brazil, Argentina, Germany, England. They are not the level of those teams at all. And we don't even win those tournaments. That's the problem. It's like the best thing for the U.S. would try to get into the Tournament of the Americas and compete with South America and see if you can grow off of that and try to get experience playing these teams because it is a lost puppy when you play against these teams. And if you'll get your shit wrecked a couple times, but you'll start figuring it out. You'll start
need
learning
to do that.
What roster will be able to compete at the highest level because this roster wasn't it.
Yeah. No, I think that they need to put their best roster together and just go around and see, challenge everybody. Challenge the street kids in London, challenge the favela teams, go and play as many different versions of the game as you possibly can, because that's what we do with all other sports. You play street hockey, you play pickup basketball, you play flag football, two-hand touch that turns into tackle on the playground. You play so many different things. You box with your brothers and sisters. You wrestle with your brothers and sisters in your free time, your friends. Like, it's insane to me because this should be the easiest sport for people that don't have a lot to just go ahead and pick up. But the way that we have set it up, it's the capital. This is the one time that I will sound like, and we'll talk about the Egypt coach, but I'm going to sound like somebody that's anti-capitalist for a second. But the capitalist model of our youth soccer program is kind of part of the reason why we're here. Everybody just is there to make money, and we have priced out some of these really damn good athletes and some of these kids that I know are, I've had a lot of migrant families that I've taught, and there are kids that are like, we don't have a soccer team at the middle school. It's like no middle school in Colorado carries soccer, and most high schools are lucky to carry soccer because that's just, all the money is in the club teams. All the money is in spending $8,000 so that you can say you're on the Colorado Storm or the FC Rapids, or I'm trying to think of all the different teams that my sister used to play for. But there is something to be said about the youth sports or the youth soccer program in the United States as part of this. But that was also just a team that didn't have it that night and really, really, really put their foot in their mouth.
I mean, let me put it this way: like the youth sports model, exactly what you're saying is making sense. But my biggest problem is that even if you pay all these thousands of dollars to play for Real Salt Lake for a Colorado Rapids,
I forgot about Real,
right? To do all that, right? If you were to do all that, right, Do you really think that your best player should be playing in that program, or do you think they should be overseas playing something?
They should be in a boarding school overseas.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the problem with it. And I will give a big kudos to the MLS because I feel like it's growing. And there's one reason. It's number 10. It's number 10, okay? It's number fucking 10. Doing it, Messi growing the support of MLS in the United States. But I still think that if this country wants to compete, the starting 11 needs to be players that consistently play in the Premier League, consistently play in this Bundesliga, in the Serie A, and in France. Like, it has to consistently play in there because, like I said, Tim Ream is an all-world defender in the MLS. The dude can't stop a fly from anybody when he faces European or South American or African talent. Like I said,
yeah, because let's be honest, Senegal would have probably given us a run for our money if we played them Monday night.
That's our biggest problem right now. That's our biggest problem is like we can say the youth programs are doing all that. It's horrible, and yes. And
no, it's definitely not the reason they lost.
True. No, I know it's not. I'm just saying that's all true. What you're saying is all true. But the bigger problem in the landscape is that we do not have a top 10 level type of league in the world. Like and our best players, but most of our players are coming from this league. And like I said, you're setting yourself up for failure. Like the MLS is known for one thing right now. It is known for Messi, and it's for where retired players go to get a fucking bag. Okay? That is a fact. Okay,
you still watch Zlatan LA Galaxy highlights. I fell asleep watching Zlatan highlights today.
Hugo Lloris, who was the World Cup winner goalie for 2018, he's on LAFC. You look at Thomas Muller, Jeremy Great is playing for Vancouver up in Canada in the MLS. Obviously, Messi and Suarez and Inter Miami. Tim Howard came back here. Obviously, unfortunately, the MLS is at a point where it is the come get yourself a paycheck and enjoy our country.
American money. Go get the American sports money, and you're no longer able to play in Europe, but you could play for probably another 15 years if you go.
That's what I'm saying.
Or Mexico.
The biggest factor in all this is the MLS and trying to grow it, because I cannot emphasize enough. Like, unfortunately, our situation is this: is you look at England, you look at Germany, right? Two countries that have two of the biggest leagues in the world. Their backup players play in their league. Right. So like obviously, as the US, there will be MLS players on the team. That's a natural thing. That's a natural thing.
It's gonna happen.
But what you have to realize is that the Bundesliga players play at the top clubs in the world. The Premier League bench players for the England squad play at the top clubs in the world, that they still compete consistently against top level talent, where the MLS is getting embarrassed. The MLS is getting embarrassed when you play. Okay, if you're a Sebastian Berhalter, right, one of the standout players for the U.S., there's a reason why he wasn't on the team 4 years ago and his dad didn't pick him, because he wouldn't even getting fucking caps for the Chicago Fire. There's levels to the hierarchy in soccer. Unfortunately, the U.S. is so far behind. And look, I can't take anything away. They made this so much fucking fun, and the players that the Balligans,
hopefully it pushes things forward, like we were talking about.
They are growing this game a lot, and I think that we are going to see a new wave of soccer in this country, very, very much so. But I do think that there's still a long ways to go. But I'd be lying to you to say, 4-1 sucks. Yeah, we got our ass kicked. But fuck, I don't know what else this team didn't go out embarrassingly to a team they should have lost to. They didn't lose to fucking Paraguay. They didn't make it. They didn't make it out of they did not make it out of the group stage like Uruguay. They didn't lose in the first round to like some of these other countries. They made it farther than countries like the Netherlands. They made it farther than countries like Croatia and Uruguay and Japan. Yes, it fucking sucks. Belgium is a fucking top level program and country when it comes to soccer consistently. Okay, and I'd be lying to you to say, yeah, it sucks, but yeah, I hate fucking losing 4-1. But this is a up-and-coming squad, and it makes me excited for future World Cups, but it makes it harder to swallow when this was your home World Cup, and you wish that this was maybe 4 years ago, and this is what the result would have been in Qatar, and then you're coming up 4 years in 2030, and the U.S. is hosting again, and you have a situation where the team is now poised to make a quarterfinal, semifinal run, which unfortunately it wasn't.
Yeah, the last credit that I'll give to the Belgian team is that they knew they needed to get out and score quickly, because if Seattle is allowed to get as loud as it possibly can be, if the U.S. would have gone up 1-0, or if they were able to get a 2-1 lead at any point, like that would have been, they could have probably overcame it with their skill, but that would have been one of the other X factors. So like you said, but it's weird too. North America compared to South America especially sucks at soccer. All three of us, because we all three went out in the same round. Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. all got bounced in 3 consecutive days. So it's North America is not a soccer continent, apparently. And I know we're going to have a lot of Mexican listeners that are going to jump down my throat. Hey, Captain Britt came back. Harry Kane. I'm calling him Captain Britt from now on. And that's another guy. I texted you yesterday. I was like, why can't – what did I just witness seeing Messi will Argentina back down 3-0 in the final 10 minutes? And this is a good way of getting into the quarterfinal matchups that we see. But what did I just watch? And then I've watched England a couple times. Like Harry Kane, he is the captain, and he is the guy that everybody is focusing on. But it's almost like he just goes into a different level and a different mode, and nobody's standing in front of him, and he jumps higher than everybody when he goes to head the ball in. And he's scoring the most clutch goals that I've ever seen a British person score in my entire life.
Let me put this in terms that you're going to understand, actually. Is like when you look at the Final 8 teams, there is one big thing that each of these Final 8 teams, that teams like the U.S., teams like Canada, teams like Mexico don't really have. And it's that each of these Final 8 teams have a Don on their fucking squad. They have a Don that just they pull that fucking card, and they can do whatever they want, right? They have a Don that takes over a game and can do whatever they want, right? France, obviously, Mbappe. Morocco, they have Achraf Hakimi, one of the best defenders in the world. Spain, you have Lamine Yamal. Belgium has the best goalie in the world in Thibaut Courtois. Norway, you have the fucking 6'7"
motherfucker, the god of thunder.
The Erling Haaland. You have England with Harry Kane. You have Argentina with Messi. Switzerland maybe is the outlier there because that's probably the only one. But you look at the way they got through their bracket, they kind of got the easier side of it. And that's the one thing about all these squads left is like, yeah, they have a guy that is going to be the guy on the field that everyone has to pay attention to because he's going to do something. He's going to do something crazy and make your life a living hell. And for the U.S., we don't have that. We don't have that. We don't have a 6'5", strong as hell motherfucker that oozes aura. Okay, that can take down Brazil in the second round.
I want to touch the ball 2 times in the game, and I want to score 2 goals. I don't want to touch the ball any other time. They make fun of me for ordering water. They don't make fun of me when I score goals. How does that guy still have a baby face? 1, he's 6'7", and when I see him running on the pitch, I'm like, that is the scariest toddler from the neck up I have ever seen. And then you look down, and you're like, oh, I'm fucked. Uh-oh.
I don't know if you saw this video. I think it was ESPN or Fox did this thing where the goal in like Norway's first game of the tournament, they had a goal where Haaland was attacking the goalkeeper as the goalkeeper was supposed to kick it off. And they showed the video of what Haaland running at you looks like. And yeah, I'd be scared shitless too.
You take it. Just put it in the back of the net. Here, you know what?
I'd be scared shitless too. And Haaland, of course, ended that with putting it in the back of the net. Look, he's a Don for a reason and one of the best players in the world. And
he's our new favorite player, right? Because that's what other team are we going to – I'm not pulling for Argentina because of their fans. I have nothing against Messi, and do the refs probably give Argentina favorable calls? Sure. Argentina, this is the one thing that the quarterfinals have brought out. Everybody thinks that America is racist from what they see in the media. Some of these countries are blatantly like twice as racist as us. The monkey sign, I'm not a fan of IShowSpeed, and I will give that guy as much crap as possible. But the monkey symbols that you're saying and saying N-word, go to the zoo, go cry in the zoo N-word as an Argentinian fan, I'm not gonna say that that's okay. But I just want to make sure everybody understands there are countries in the world that they're still trying to figure themselves out of this, quote, slavery and racism situation. Argentina is majority German.
We also have a lot of rights in this country that a lot of women don't have in some of these countries, is all I'm going to say. So that also helps to it. I will say, like when you're picking a team to pick, I don't want to pick France, okay? I don't want to pick Spain. I don't want to pick Argentina. Like,
even though it would be fun if France won, because they are the reason why we beat the British 250 years ago.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it.
Did you see what that Paraguayan politician said about Mbappe? Like, holy shit.
There's a lot of sketchy stuff. But I hate to say a team that I might be rooting for. It's Norway, obviously, right? But dare I say it's coming home? Like, dare I say it?
Do not.
Like,
I will not allow you. I will not allow you to say that in the 250th year of this country on this podcast. We are a Colorado, United States-based podcast. I am not going to allow you to drink that British tea. I'm not even going to call it Kool-Aid because they don't put enough sugar in their drinks to make it Kool-Aid. I am not going to allow you to say that on our airwaves. I'm going to have you think about this before you say anything.
There's no one else I can really pick the win, though. That's my problem. I don't know. I can't fucking do Spain because there's Germany ties that they hate each other. Same thing with France and same
thing with England.
I know, same thing with England, but like I like Harry Kane. I like him, all right. I like my beans with my toast. Okay?
No, you don't. Nobody likes British food. Not even the British people who live there. They just don't have farmland to grow anything else.
Yeah, I don't. You know, I think if I'm picking my team I'm rooting for, it's a winner of this Norway England game. I'm sorry, I can't because it's going to look. Let's not shit ourselves. It's going to be France, Spain, and Argentina in the final four. Okay, and it's going to be between Norway and England. I don't want any of the other three. I'm sorry, I can't get myself around to rooting for any of the other three. Like maybe I do France, maybe.
Why not Morocco? Why not?
Morocco's not beating France, okay? I'm
not saying that they are, but I'm just saying, why not Morocco?
I would love to root for Morocco, but
it would be the first ever
here.
time because they were the first team to make it to this round. I think the last World Cup in Qatar. They're the first majority Muslim nation to do that, so there's history there.
Morocco's a good team. I'm not saying they are, but I'm being realistic of teams that can win it, and they're not realistic. I mean, look,
Viva España.
I can't do that with Spain.
I will do that because I'm learning Spanish.
After what happened in 2010 World Cup where they knocked out Germany, and I believe they knocked out Italy also that World Cup. So you have some ties there, okay?
Hey,
so
Italy didn't even make – I wish the United States would have pulled in Italy and not qualified for the tournament after that 4-1 drubbing.
Okay, I cannot.
I'm going too far. I'm pushing it too far.
I cannot sit here and stand like I did not enjoy the first 3 weeks of this World Cup when the U.S. was fucking rolling. Okay, yeah, it sucked to lose 4-1, but I'm not going to forget about those few weeks.
It was always going to be. Here's the thing. Here's a little behind the scenes. Niko loves roulette. Rooting for this United States men's national team was kind of like playing roulette.
Exactly. I had a lot of fucking fun with it for 3 weeks.
You hit 3 times in a row, and then you put it all down, and you're like, ah, shit.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. And I'll still remember those 3 fucking weeks of it. And I'll still think very, very fondly of the Balogun goal against Bosnia, and then the Tillman goal where it made the whole country believe they can actually.
I wanted him to get one so badly last night. Here's the last thing that I'll say about Belgium. How big of babies do they look like after contesting that overturn of the suspension, which, by the way, is not the first time that it happened. And it's not the first time that a government has gotten involved with FIFA. And we'll say this again. We will say this again because there's new people listening. Niko, what is FIFA? The most
FIFA is the most corrupt company in the whole entire world. Think of
They're more corrupt than any government you could have ever thought of.
Any company, any sporting thing you could think of. NCAA doesn't sniff the jockstrap of what FIFA does, okay? It does not, like NCAA, we talk a lot of shit about. It does not sniff the jockstrap of what FIFA does. There is about 15 different documentaries on why they fucking suck, okay?
The guy who called the red card was on legal suspension from refereeing soccer in his home country of Brazil for rigging games. How he ended up with his head not on a stake is anybody's guess.
I don't like I said, people can say, well, you Americans don't know soccer. You don't look. Okay, we may not know soccer, but does England not know soccer? Because Jude Bellingham your tournament guy red card was sitting in and was able to play the next game. Or Messi, that same penalty that Balogun had didn't get called for Messi. Like, the Americans are stupid. Americans are dumb. I hate that because I don't think they realize we won everything fucking else. We have the hockey world. We have the
This is
basketball
literally
world.
the only
We
sport
have
that
the
we're trying to
American
break
world.
through.
The only sport we don't have is baseball. It's because our team fucking sucks too.
Well,
but
we did
now
make
the rest
the
of these
final at
countries
least.
arguing suck at baseball. So I don't know what else you want from us because we have the best. Outside of one fucking sport, and I realize it's the sport in the world. Okay, I'm aware of that. We have everything else. We have the fastest
Ted
swimmers.
Lasso's
We
coming
have the
back for
fastest
season 4.
men and women. We have the fastest swimmers. We have the best boxers. We have the best MMA fighters. We can go down the list of things that we have that the rest of the world doesn't have. Just
Now,
because
how many Super Bowls has Europe won, Niko? How many Super Bowls?
0.
Exactly.
We may be dumb, but we're not that fucking dumb. Okay, we're not as blinded as you are because we don't have our best athletes playing soccer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it would be something if we could take one of our best athletes from another sport and really quickly. It wouldn't be the next World Cup. It would definitely be a 4-year, an 8-year process.
And I want this known is like that whole thing. Well, it doesn't matter if you give your best players in the world. There are 3 players on this U.S. men's national team that have fathers that played in the NFL. By the way. Yeah. We are starting to realize that generation of, I don't want my son playing football and have head injuries. I'm going to go put him in soccer.
Yeah, that is something else that nobody ever talks about. Yeah.
Tillman is his father.
No, he's not. I looked it up. I thought it was. It's not Charles Tillman.
Who was the other one?
There is a guy. I know that there is a guy who has a dad who played in the NFL. I thought it was Tillman because I love Peanut Tillman, the Peanut Punch. Not related to Malik Tillman. It was
someone else. NFL dads on U.S. men's national team soccer. Let me look it up.
No, and here's the other thing that I will say.
Alex Freeman, that was the one I was talking about.
Freeman.
Alex Freeman.
And who's his dad? Because
Antonio Freeman, receiver for the Packers.
Yeah, no, actually that does. I didn't watch him play, but that actually does ring a bell. You just need to continue on. Like that's the thing. Everybody and nobody understands that living here in America. And I still feel really bad for the rest of the world that Alexi Lawless, because it's in the United States, has to be in everybody's face. And I'm Team Zlatan now. I started off as I can't believe the ego on this guy, but I'm so far Team Zlatan. It is crazy. I watched a couple of Zlatan documentaries. I watch his highlights every now and then from the MLS. You just need to keep going. Like nothing is going to happen very fast. You are not overnight going to turn yourself into some soccer powerhouse. That's not what happened in the United States. Niko, how many gold medals has the United States won in Olympic hockey? 3.
Three. Yeah.
So it's not like it's just going to be some explosion, but eventually it will break through. And when it does, obviously there's a bunch of people here living in the United States that do actually like the game of soccer. But this is the other thing that I will say. When countries want to come at us, it's like, you don't even give a shit about this sport. Why are you so upset? I don't care about soccer. You know what I care about? The sport is competition. The sport is competition.
You know what I fucking care about? The U.S. of fucking A is what I care about.
That too. It's national pride. But it's just competition. Niko, I know you. If we sat down today and played chess, Monopoly, Game of Life, checkers, that game's not getting finished because the board's getting flipped. Like that is the American competition level is something that none of these other countries, like you get it in soccer, you get it in your football leagues, you get it there. You don't understand. I will compete in anything. I will compete with how fast I can tie my shoes. I will compete with how many times I can flip heads on a coin, even though I know that it's 50-50. I will compete whether or not I can I remember just middle school and like playing bloody knuckles or playing where you grip each other's hands and the first one to let go is the loser. Like that is what America needs. Don't worry about whether or not this is soccer. Worry about the fact that this is a competition and we can win, and that's going to change this entire program.
Let me put it a different way. Also, is like yes, you're very correct. Competition level and everything. There's one thing that the USA basketball, that USA hockey, that track, that swimming, that all these other top sports that we are really really good at, that means something. Why we're so good at those sports is because it means something to put those 3 letters on your fucking chest. Like why do I care? Why in the conversation of why do I care about this? I don't care if it's a fucking dry needling contest. And the USA is competing against somebody. Fuck
Niko,
yeah!
Did you watch the hot dog eating contest?
I had to work on July 4th, so unfortunately,
but just
I did not.
who are you rooting for? Joey fucking Chestnut, because he's got USA on his chest.
I don't care what the fuck it is. Yes, so you can tell me I'm a fucking fair weather fan, that I don't know anything about the sport. Sure, go ahead. But I'll tell you one thing. You don't give a fuck about your German basketball team like I do my USA basketball team. You don't care about your England American football team as much as I care about my U.S. football team. You
Niko,
don't
when
care
Creek won the state
about
championship, did you feel a little bit of pride as,
Yes,
as
I
an
did. Of
alumni?
course I fucking
Exactly.
did.
And you're a
I
coach
fucking
on another
won
team in the
those 3
school.
letters. Those 3 fucking letters mean something to me because I live in it and I live in the greatest country in the world. And that's something that we have that a lot of people don't have. So I'm sorry.
I also, if we ever do host a World Cup, which may or may not happen in our lifetimes, I want, instead of I know that they did a few friendlies in college stadiums, but that's our culture.
Yeah.
That's what everybody would be willing to get behind. Like, let's go full on into college football culture.
I believe we're the front row of the 2038 or 2034. I can't.
I know that the women's World Cup is coming back in 2032. We were talking about that a couple weeks ago with why the Broncos want to get their stadium done so that Denver can possibly be a host site for the women's World Cup.
I believe 2038 or 2034. There is a chance that this comes back around because the next two, next one is in Riyadh, and the next one is like a European one with 4.
That's going to be interesting if Saudi Arabia doesn't finish that war that they're in right now.
Oh, there's a lot of things going on. Don't worry. That's never stopped FIFA before from going into.
That is also true. Yeah.
So,
and by the way, if we want to talk about FIFA being corrupt, Qatar getting a World Cup, that country is so like back asswards. It is insane. Like, I've listened to criminal podcasts on it. I've listened to history podcasts on it. I've listened to economic podcasts on it. All of those buildings, all of the buildings in Qatar were built on people taken from their home country, bussed in, and told, if you want your passport back, you will build this giant football cathedral so that FIFA gives us the World Cup in 2022.
That, by the way, will never be used again.
It won't.
And
I've also been in a country that built an entire sports arena for an Olympics. I was in China in 2008. I was in the basketball arena. It is eerie being in there. Nobody's been in there since 2008.
Still not used. And all these stadiums, every single stadium you're seeing played from Mexico to Canada to the U.S. is all being used by bigger sporting events. So you can hate on us for doing this other thing, but a lot of people are liking our country when they come in. So maybe we know.
Yeah, don't watch the news if you really want a taste, like not a taste. That sounds like I'm trying. Come get a taste. If you really want a taste of America, just visit. Like, I know I talk to European.
Something for everybody.
Same thing that I tell my students. Like, if you have a chance, go to a different country, go to a different continent, or just talk to somebody that's from there. Like, all of the international students, yeah, I want to make sure that they have people that they can talk to, but just like, talk to this person who's from Ukraine and see if your mom taking away your iPhone is literally the worst thing that can happen in your life. Because my Ukrainian student, the first thing that she said when she walked in the room was like, "Oh, your walls aren't made of concrete? All of our walls are made of 8-foot concrete." I was like, "Yeah, well, nobody's really going to fire a missile at the school here." So it's weird when we get into World Cup, we almost always go back. I'm not even teaching social studies. I'm about to sign my English contract for the upcoming school year. Let's move on into...
I do before we do that, because we didn't give our predictions. I have France.
Oh, I did say who's you. Well, you kind of answered my question without saying. You said England or Norway is going to be your team moving forward. Who is your prediction then?
I have England winning. I have England. I have Argentina. I have Spain, and I have France. And then post that, I have England beating Argentina, and I have France beating Spain, and I have France winning it all. That's my prediction. The way it goes.
I don't know if I want France to win it all, but I do like Mbappe.
I'm telling you, France is the best team here.
They are definitely. I would love to see France, Spain in the final, but I don't think that can happen.
Their front four is the stupidest front four you'll ever see, between Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, who won the Ballon d'Or, who's the Heisman Trophy of basically soccer of the whole world. Yeah. The whole world. Well, you have Michael Olise, who's one of the best players in the world as well. Then left wing, you have Doué and you have Barcola. This team is just stupid on top of talent, and I think their defense is good enough. So I would be shocked if France did not win this World Cup.
No, here's how you know France is really that talented, because I even realized it. I was sitting in Las Vegas, taking a little bit of a break in between going to different resorts and working off some of the alcoholic drinks that I've had, the adult beverages, and I was sitting there and I was like, damn, France is like, I know that I'm drunk, but they look like they're moving in 2 times speed, and they're not. They're just always threatening. They're always, if Mbappe's on the field, he's getting the ball and he's going to put it on net. Or if it doesn't go on net, it's going to be a corner or one of those situations. Like France's set pieces were a thing of beauty.
I have a feeling that we're going to get the replay of 2024 and 2020. 2022 and 2018. Is that right? Yeah, 2022 and 2018. I have a feeling we're going to get that between Argentina and France, but I don't know. I think Argentina has really shown some flaws, and I do think that there's a chance that honestly, even a country like Switzerland, I don't think that they're as good, but I do think they'll test them. And then I think England or Norway, either one of those two, I think could get a walk into the World Cup final because Argentina is on their heels. So
Argentina has been on their heels, but do you think that they're going to bounce themselves off their heels? Because like that's the second game in a row that they've been down and had to have Messi just put them on their shoulders in order to come back. Like at some point they got to wake up and realize that they have to play 90 minutes, right?
The problem with that is like the three teams they played, and obviously Switzerland now being the third, are teams that are not real threats to winning it all. Like no offense to Switzerland making the Elite Eight. This is the biggest accomplishment in Swiss soccer history. Okay, the fact they got this far. So
was Egypt a better matchup for Argentina than Switzerland?
Egypt has better MLS talent. They have Buati. They have obviously Mo Salah. They have great talent that is top of talent in the world. As opposed to Switzerland has a very, very good, solid team, and that's one thing that Switzerland did really well. They beat Algeria pretty handedly, where Algeria was left in team, and then Colombia they made it difficult. They said we're parking the fucking bus, and you're not going to score on us. We're not going to create main chances, but when we do create chances, you're going to be on your heels. And if we put them back in the net, you're screwed. And they went to penalties, and Colombia just failed. Yeah, so they could do that to Argentina.
They could do that to Argentina, but if Argentina is losing, I feel like it's going to be to one of the other top four teams in the world. Because who's the top four? It's France, it's Argentina, it's Spain, and England, right?
Yeah. I mean,
probably, maybe Germany, but Germany just got knocked out. So
Germany doesn't deserve to be in that conversation.
I'm just saying with the UEFA rankings that they put out before the World Cup started.
I would say Brazil is in that conversation. I would also say
why is Brazil not here? Thor, the God of Thunder. Erling Haaland.
I'm aware of that. I would say Brazil. I'd say Portugal. We're also in that conversation. In Portugal, obviously.
I'm so happy Portugal lost. I'm so happy. I'm not because of anything that they do on the field. I'm not even really that big of a Messi fan because Messi is not the holier than thou figure. People, if you understand Spanish, Messi is not the nice guy that you think he is. He is. It's just because nobody understands what he's saying. But Ronaldo is. I'm glad that he's not there. I'm glad that he never won a World Cup.
Portugal was my sleeper to make a deep run, and obviously they would have had to get past Spain, and they almost did.
They did. They were very threatening, especially after Spain scored.
Yeah, Spain scored in the 90th minute there, and won that game in the last few minutes, and that's really what got them over the hump. And Portugal's defense was not as good as where Spain is. So, but yeah, I think it's France's tournament to lose. I can stand by that. Like I said, that's why I kind of want England or I kind of want Norway to do it because I feel like both those teams are underdogs. Yeah, England, it's kind of hard to call them the underdog. He wants 3 Lions and they have the best league in the world and blah, blah, blah. But
we're from England, fucking England. No one likes us. We don't care.
I don't know if you saw this chant. I don't know whose stream this was on. Did you see the chant the English made when they were playing Mexico's?
I did not.
He said, "You can shove your fucking tacos up your ass. You can shove your fucking tacos up your ass. You can shove your fucking tacos. Shove your fucking tacos. Shove your fucking tacos up your ass." That was a real chant. I'm not just making that up.
That's not made up. Did you watch the video that I sent you of the American guy coming up with chants for all of the other? If we were good enough, we would be able to use all of the like Turkey, Qatar, all of the Muslim. Shouldn't you be praying? Doodah, doodah. Isn't it your praying time? All the doodah day. Or with France and. If it weren't for us, you'd be Germany. If it weren't for us, you'd be Germany. If it weren't for us, you'd be Germany.
I don't think that the rest of the world realizes the sarcasm that comes from our country also. Because my new favorite thing on Twitter is these 3 guys that have like a fake podcast, where they just spoof everything. Where they call Mbappe. Hey, I think Mbappe has a real chance to make in the MLS. He has really shown a lot this tournament, and I think if he does the next thing, he could be the next Christian Pulisic in the MLS. People are seeing what Messi is doing in the MLS.
When Christian Pulisic goes to the MLS, that is going to be a dark day in MLS history. He's going to win everything.
Well, they call Mbappe Boppy, and they call Holland Haaland, and it goes on and on and on. It's very, very funny. He's like, Bellingham, they had some really good talent, but we felt like we had them in the whole first half.
That is the last thing that I wanted to ask you. Balogun getting reinstated within 36 hours of game time, did that lead to some unforeseen mental circumstances that we didn't see? Because that was one of the other ideas that was getting floated out there, they prepared all the time without having Balogun, and then when he got reinserted, they just didn't know what to do, and they couldn't implement the game plan that they had thought of.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't think. Balogun wasn't.
That's a lot of cope, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, Balogun wasn't a factor in that game. Neither was Pulisic, and neither was.
He had a couple opportunities. I wanted him so badly to score, and he would become the American Joker with a British accent.
Oh yeah, everyone, the whole state, they would have. I mean, if he would have got the first goal,
the country of Belgium would have put a hit out.
If you got the first goal on Monday, probably we would have had a different outcome. Is all I'm going to say on Monday Night Football. But unfortunately, things did not go away. About
2.5 months until Monday Night Football comes back, Nico. Aren't you
so
excited?
The real Monday Night Football.
I did enjoy all of the U.S. men's national team edits with the Monday Night Football song that Chris Stapleton and Snoop Dogg sings. No, just the I can feel it coming, and it just got me juiced up. I was like, "Ooh, is our Tennessee and Jacksonville about to square off in prime time on Thursday night?" This just feels right, awesome. Let's move on into basketball. We didn't have a chance. Ooh, that's the wrong one. This one. We didn't have a chance to talk about this trade because we decided to take the week off. You allowed me to get my debauchery done in Vegas, and you were in Annapolis for PLL All-Star Weekend. This was one shocking because it's a division trade, and I know divisions don't matter in basketball as much as they do in football, but still, like Boston and Philly, it's not like they're trying to help each other out. In my mind, when I first saw this,
one team is trying to now, apparently.
Well, but in my mind, when I saw this, Philly was like, we're going to try and give Boston Paul George to maybe tank some of that culture around them. And that's the thing. I don't know how NBA executives feel about Jaylen Brown. I know that you think Jaylen Brown is a very valuable player, but I've heard Windhorse, I've heard other basketball minds that are much smarter than myself say they had a tough time, just like with Giannis, trading Jaylen Brown because his personality, whether or not he's actually able to lead a team, those are all the conversations that are happening. So in my mind, I'm sitting here, and if I'm Philly's GM, I'm thinking, it's a fleece possibly, but if I'm somebody else in that division, I'm looking at Philly and be like, are they trying to sabotage Boston by sending them Paul George? Is that's what's going on? I really don't know where to sit with this. I know that Jaylen Brown is a much better player than Paul George. Paul George has not been the same since that broken ankle in the Olympic practices and all that stuff. And that's not his fault. The stuff that he's done after that, the playoff P and the podcast P and all that stuff, and the lack of production and the injuries that he's dealt with, that's him. That's all him. But I understand. I think that this was a fleecing, but just for the new fans that we're about to see, I want people to understand Niko's the basketball guy. I am nowhere near the basketball guy. So all of these dumb ideas that you think are coming out of my mouth and the reaction that Niko's showing on the screen right now, I do this intentionally. I like to stir Niko's pot when it comes to basketball. So tell me why everybody's going to look at Philly as sabotage, or they're going to look at Philly as being sabotaged because they picked up Jaylen Brown, who is just a locker room cancer, and you can't do anything with him.
I'm not going to argue with you on this. I'm not.
Oh?
I'm actually not. You know what my first thought was when I saw this trade? Embiid's finally going to make a conference finals. Fuck. it was like our agenda's gone, guys. We're losing our agenda because the Sixers just got away with chopped fucking liver. I don't understand what in the world Boston's doing. Even if Jaylen Brown, it had no worth, you're telling me Cam Johnson, Christian Brown, Payton Watson isn't a better deal than Paul George and 2 firsts?
Who is it's Hugo something? Who's the guy on
Boston? Dallas.
That was the guy that they said they were not willing to include in this trade. They said by no means am I putting Hugo.
Giannis, by the way, which Giannis said, I will sign in Boston. I don't know.
I gotta. Where's my? I gotta find my phone.
I don't know.
I gotta show you this text from. Here it is. I gotta show you this comment that somebody left about the Giannis trade. So keep talking about Paul or the Jaylen Brown, Paul George situation.
Philly, you have Payton. Like Embiid is no longer your guy. Like I don't think people are downplaying this. Philly, I think, is maybe the best team in the Eastern Conference. God, that hurt to say. That really hurt to say. But I think this may put them on the same level as New York. I know
Miami?
that sounds weird to say.
New York?
Miami still has to make a lot of moves, okay? Miami's got to add some more pieces because they're a very, very depleted roster still. So I'm not going to be ready to put Miami there.
You're going to love this because we still have some weirdos in our comments. This is a Bucks fan very clearly. His comment on our video talking about the Giannis trade from 2 weeks ago. This was a very good trade for the Bucks. The Bucks got a few picks, a young Tyler Hero, and multiple key role players that have good potential to be starters throughout the league.
You're right.
They still lost the trade, did they not?
Still lost the best player, a top 5 player in the world. So you lost the fucking trade, okay?
And his last thing, because I said the Bucks still lost, they were holding on to nostalgia, lost all the value that they could have traded Giannis for. He said we didn't lose any of it. And then the final thing that he said was, I'd rather have Tyler Hero. Oh, I said, enjoy your rebuild behind Tyler Hero. And he said, I'd rather have him and a future than Giannis.
That's where the guy is definitely not a Bucks fan. Let me just put it that way, okay? Like I don't care if you get everything you could ever want in a package. If you get a top 5 player in his prime, you lose the fucking trade. Sorry, I don't care if God himself says I'm giving you whatever you want in return for a top 5 player in the league. You're losing the trade. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to try to argue that because he knows that the best one of, I'm not going to say the best because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did play for that team, but a top 3 player that's ever played for your franchise leaves your franchise and you think you win the trade. I'm sorry, that's not true. Tyler Hero, good player. Dude hasn't been healthy in 5 years.
You don't believe in Jack Harlow's best friend?
Dude,
he's not going to elevate them to
Tyler Hero. Like I said, Tyler Hero, if they're hoping to get 2021 Tyler Hero, sure. But that was 5 years ago. And Tyler Hero hasn't been healthy in 3 years, okay?
That's how long it's been since Jack Harlow put out that Tyler Hero song. That's how long it's been.
Good player, right? Has a lot of hope. Jaime Hawkins, good player. Yakachunas, great player. You hope that one of those players become the love of Giannis. This isn't like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Paul George. I'm sorry. You're not doing that trade right now. You're not that lucky.
Paul George has been involved in a lot of big deals. A lot of big deals that left the team we're probably going to get there as Nuggets fans in a few years, so I don't want to speak too much out of turn, but just the Boston gets added to the list of teams that won a title and had to blow up their championship core. The second apron seems to be just looming in the shadow of every single owner, but really is it looming? Because they're still making, they're in year 2 of an $11 billion broadcasting rights deal, Niko. So it doesn't fucking matter whether they go into the second apron or not, because they can all afford to keep these players now. Literally every owner, every team in the NBA, eventually within the next 5 years with how this deal is going, is going to be able to pay max money for as many players as they want. It's just being used as a scapegoat at this point.
Look, the second apron is a big penalty, and that's why it was put in place, and that's why owners who are very cheap for right reasons are not paying that much money. And I'm not going to say that we're going to get back in the world of super teams, but this is a reason why the world that we've had, I believe it's 9 now straight different NBA champions in a row. It's a different world we're living in entirely. And going back to the Jaylen Brown trade. Jaylen Brown, I don't care if you say he doesn't have a left hand, doesn't have a dribble. That man willed the Boston Celtics to a number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference last year without Jason Tatum.
Philly after getting the 3-1 lead.
I'm sorry. Like Brad Stevens saw Paul George play good defense for 2 games in that 7-game series against Philly in round 1 this past year and said, yeah, that's what I want on my team. I'm sorry. Like this isn't as bad as Luka for Anthony Davis, but you're nearing that. In terms of being like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to give away a star player in his prime for a guy who plays better defense. Paul George is not that at 33, I believe, 34 years old. He's not that at that age. Okay.
Yeah.
And,
Coming off of a compound fracture of his tib fib and ankle injuries, all and the fact, hey, Niko, it's more competition for us. He's a podcaster.
I believe Daryl Morey is not the owner for the team anymore, and I don't sorry, not the owner, the GM. I believe he got removed. But whoever the owner is in Philly just fleeced them. I think this is retribution for
it's somebody
for
new.
Boston.
I can't remember the name, but it is somebody new.
I believe this is retribution for Boston trading Philly, their number one pick back in 2017, I believe, maybe it was 2018, and saying, yeah, we want Markelle Fultz, but I guess you'll have him. And then they slide back 2 spots and get Jason Tatum. Okay, I believe this is like, oh, we're sorry that we did this to you, so we'll make this better by making up for this trade and give you a top 10 player in the league, because he was second team All NBA this past year. Top 10 player in the league for scraps. Like I said, this and this will segue this into the next conversation. Is like this makes Philly a very, very hot commodity and a place where LeBron's is deciding to go there.
Wait, you got to read it, because in my head as I was writing it down, I read it as Ron Burgundy. LeBron's final decision. Damn it! Who put the question mark on the teleprompter? Anything you put on that prompter, Burgundy or Pilato will read. Is it his last decision? It's year 24, Niko. Year 24.
Yeah, this performer can't go on much longer, I think. I don't know. Look, we were in the running, but we're not in the running, but maybe we're in the running. I am not
truly to win a title.
I mean, it's surely to win a title. We should be top of the list, is all I'm going to say. It should be us and it should be Minnesota at the top of that list. Okay, it's not Cleveland.
Ain't no way LeBron's going to Minneapolis. Ain't no way. If he can't handle Memphis, he's not going to Minneapolis.
All I'm going to say is he could be saying the same thing about Colorado. Okay, so
I don't think that he's ever. I don't think that was ever. I know that
I'll say this. It was a conversation because Rich Paul said it was. Okay. And I would like to take that as his agent as real. Okay. Because Kroenke has a very good relationship with LeBron. Very, very good relationship with them. They do a lot of business deals. They have
LeBron, do you want ownership stake in Arsenal? Do you want ownership stake in the Los Angeles Rams?
But they have a very, very good, strong relationship with the two of them. So that was a factor in all of it. And for those saying that we weren't in the running, if Rich Paul says we were, I'm going to take that as kosher. Okay, and I'm going to take that as the truth. I tweeted this out. Is like, I'm not going to believe he's a Denver Nugget until the first game happens. If he does sign with us, like I'm dead serious. Like I'm not going to believe it until he puts on the uniform, steps on the floor. That's a dead serious. Like this is the same thing in 2017, 2018 when D Wade was making his decision. D Wade tweeted out, "Thank you, Denver, for the hospitality, but I'm not signing with you." And I think this is a very
Wayne, come back to Shotgun Willies. Come back.
This is a very similar situation for us, okay? And I think, and look, the reason why Philly's here is because of one reason. And apparently, Rich Paul said this, and it was like, it's because LeBron was going to be a Knick if they didn't win the championship. Because he wanted to bring a championship back to New York. He brought a championship to Cleveland.
I also heard this.
Miami,
so you'll be proud of me. The next longest streak is Philly, right?
And the next biggest city that hasn't won a championship in all time is basketball is Philly.
Yes. And Philly, as much as they love their Eagles and they love their Phillies, I think that if the 76ers were good, I've never been alive when the 76ers have been a real title contending threat. Neither have you. But the
only time was like when we were 4 years old in AI when they lost to Kobe and the Lakers in the finals. That was the only time, and it was 2001. It's a very, very long time.
I'm 4 years old.
4 years old, exactly. Don't remember it.
I have no clue about that, but it would make sense. Like, I feel like he's picked Jokic for his all-star team that he's got to pick a couple times. I know it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. But if this is my thing, do I want LeBron here? I could really care less. I really don't want the media.
Let me answer that for Nugget Nation. Yes, we do. Okay?
Yes, okay.
Yes, we do. But just because if we want a chance to win it all next year, that's our only chance. That is a living, breathing chance right now. It is one of the few options we have, Jimmy. There's not many left. We're dying over here.
Well, then who do your best defensive players become? LeBron, AG,
And Peyton Watson, if you're able to keep him.
Look, it's still a long shot. But like, what other move is this franchise going to drastically make to put them above OKC? Exactly, there isn't.
They didn't do anything that they should have done. They should have gotten rid.
That's why I'm saying this is our only fucking hope.
It is our only hope. It is our only hope. But I don't think he's such an attention hog. I don't think that he was actually ever interested in Denver. But this, for me, I wanted it to happen because I want the Nuggets to do well, and I know that there's a bunch of people that I have in my life that are big-time Nuggets fans more so than anything else. I coached with a guy. I was like, you're a Nuggets fan first? He said, I'm not Broncos. I'm not Rockies. I'm not anything else. I am a Nuggets fan first. I was like, you're a Nuggets fan first? For that sake, I would love LeBron to come here because you know what that erases? It erases the fact that Denver is a flyover city and that they can't get big-name free agents. And would you be paying him bucos of dollars? No, he's supposedly going to sign for something less. I don't think that it's going to be a minimum. I think it's going to be a mid. I don't think that it's going to be the very lowest. I think it's going to be somewhere in the minimum.
If he signs here, it'll be a veteran minimum. If he signs in Cleveland, it'll be a veteran minimum. And if he
Cleveland's
signs
another one
Philly,
that's interesting.
And if he signs in Philly, it'll be a veteran minimum. I think Miami is the only place where it wouldn't be a veteran minimum because they got off a lot of contracts. So it'll be a veteran minimum where it's the lowest.
Is that appealing to him to play with Giannis?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let me put that out there. Absolutely.
I'm just saying there's only one basketball to go around, and all you basketball players are very egocentric, and you all want to dribble the basketball 85 times on the floor, but there's only one, and there's 5 of you on the floor.
I think the best place to go is Miami. I'll say it. I think the best place to go is Miami. I think if LeBron, Philly would elevate them to another level. Like that would help them be at top of the championship conversation as well. But I think Miami with 2 stars, you're building a new big 3. And I think LeBron,
who would be
LeBron is the defer. Like I hate to tell you that.
Would be the third?
He is LeBron is the third. He defers.
It was him, Bam, and Giannis.
It would be Giannis 1, Bam 2, or it'd be Giannis 1, LeBron 2, Bam 3.
Because that's the other thing. They don't have to give up anything to get LeBron, right? LeBron is a true free agent, right?
No, they don't. Nobody has to give up anything for him. The Lakers are letting him walk scot-free.
That's why you don't give a player option to a guy.
Miami, I think, is the most intriguing spot. Philly, if I had an opinion, I think it's going to be Miami or Philly. I think those are the top 2 runners. I think Cleveland, it'd be a fun story, but what does he have to prove there? Unless he wants to make his documentary about him.
Would he be the one? Because we've talked about Cleveland the last few years. Are they going? They need something to get themselves over the hump. That's not what's going to get them over the hump right now. It's not 31-year-old LeBron. You're looking at 41-year-old LeBron.
Yeah, it's not. It's not the thing that will get him over the hump. That's what I'm saying. That's like a.
We got to get Jordan back on and
let's
Jordan or Doug.
It's like let's get those jersey sales up somehow, and that's what Cleveland's doing. Okay,
that's what Windhorst said. He's like, I know a lot of people that financially really benefit when LeBron is playing for Cleveland. It's like, okay, is that going to be a championship? No, it is not a championship.
Look. Let me put it this way. The best investment in the history of basketball is signing LeBron James to a veteran minimum. Let me put it that way. Because jersey sales and ticket sales are going to sky fucking rocket. You have no idea. That money, you will get that money back that you paid LeBron for a veteran's minimum back within a week. A week of him signing with your franchise. I'll tell you that right now.
I think that it storyline-wise, and that's the thing. He said that he's going to go somewhere that makes him happy. And when I listen to
Windhorst, it ain't fucking here. I'll tell you that right now. There's nothing here to make him happy.
Probably not.
Unless we look, I obviously I work for Crocky Sports, and it's very, very funny that we don't have a practice facility, everything. For the love of God, Denver Nuggets social media team, stop posting videos of our practice facility. Okay, show them somewhere else because the problem's going to take one look at our little.
Go to Red Rocks.
Go show videos somewhere else because that's not helping our case.
No.
Showing our one little gym in Ball Arena that is the size of less than the size of our high school gym. Okay, like that little gym, and show that as our training facility. And yeah, he definitely sure as hell ain't coming here. Okay, so let's try to just act like we have money and we have nice facility. Let's just try.
Well, you answered my question because I was going to say, what's your fantasy team? It sounds like your fantasy team is Denver, but your realistic team is Miami or
I think my
Philly.
Realistic team is Philly. I think after the Jaylen Brown move, I think he will be a Sixer. I think Cleveland, I think there's nothing to prove. and I wonder how that will work out because you want to talk about ball dominance. Like Giannis is bad, okay? Bam is a very good secondary player, good off-ball player. He showed it with Jimmy Butler, showed it with Tyler Hero, showed it with Davion Mitchell, showed it with a lot of great players. So I have no worries about
Showed it on
Bam.
the U.S. team, didn't
U.S. team, exactly. I've seen that from Bam Adebayo, so I have no worries about that Miami. And look, LeBron is already a second fiddle to Giannis, so it's LeBron conceding to Giannis at that point. But when you go to Cleveland, there's two other players that aren't the level of LeBron James right now that need the ball in their hands, and Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. Neither of those two players can like Donovan Mitchell is probably the best out of Harden himself of off ball, but James Harden is not effective defensively and not effective off ball. And I'm telling you right now, LeBron right now at his age is better than James Harden. Okay, so if LeBron goes to Cleveland, it'll be through him, and James Harden is negated. Then you're also having the conversation. Well, is Donovan Mitchell then the alpha on the team? And then it's a whole other conversation where, okay, maybe he's the alpha. What is LeBron's secondary role like? Oh, well, what does James Harden third role look like? That's why I think Miami is more realistic.
James Harden's going to spend way too much time at the strip clubs.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why Miami, I think, is a more appealing destination. It's like, yeah, it'd be fun to end your career in Cleveland, but he's going to sign a one-day contract. Like, let's not be stupid here. The guy will retire a Cavalier at the end of the day, okay? Like, he may not play one more game in the Cavs, but he will retire with a Cavalier uniform on, so.
Well, my fantasy team, and just to see, so if you had the over-under on how far I can make Nico's eyes roll in the back of his head, he's going to go to Washington because he's so obsessed with chasing Jordan's legacy. And by the way, AD is there, and Trae Young, who they just signed to this massive contract. Why wouldn't you go to Washington?
And they drafted the number one overall pick. And
Bonanza. Come on, why not? Let's go to Washington. Shake things up. Beat MJ 2.0.
The real
Portland.
wild card here. You know who it is? It's Golden State.
Oh, I was gonna say
It's Golden State.
That's because by the way, Draymond as soon as LeBron turned his player option down, Draymond turned his down. He's like, I know the writing is on the wall at this point, baby.
Let's Americans not remember how much LeBron just hyped out playing with Steph Curry for the first time 2 years ago in the Summer Olympics, and how much he cherished it and loved every moment of it. Like if we were talking Golden State will not give him one of the best chances to win because Golden State would still be a at best 3 or 4 seed in the West with LeBron on their team. Okay, if you want a better chance, you go to the East. But playing with Curry, playing in California still, like playing with Draymond possibly, like that is appealing. But he did say along the lines of like Golden State needs to go get Anthony Davis, and I was like, well, that's not going to work. So I don't understand. I just thought it's wild. I think it's wild that we're in the conversation. I really do.
Decision 2026 after decision 2012.
If somehow I'm saying it's a big I and it's a big F. Okay, capital letters. If somehow he becomes a Denver Nugget, I will be the most shocked person in the world. Let me just put that out there.
There's going to be some episodes that you probably want me to go back and
I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, I legit will have no idea what to do. I'm like,
yeah, you're going to have a lot of episodes that you're going to want me to go back and be like,
I will not believe it until he physically steps foot in Ball Arena and plays in a Denver Nuggets uniform. I won't believe it.
Yeah. We have plenty more to come. We have our versus debate coming up after this next little ad break. We have Sean Payton getting the biggest feature that I can remember a Denver Broncos coach getting in ESPN for a long time, and some other things. So don't go anywhere. We are going to kick it over to one of our advertisements right now. We will be right back here on the Far End of the Bench podcast. Make sure you're following and subscribe at FEOTB Pod. Are you looking to upgrade your podcasting equipment without downgrading your wallet? Then I've got the perfect website for you. Head over to 5core.com and check out everything they have to offer for creators, podcasters, musicians, streamers, and anyone looking to level up their sound. 5core.com, based out of Bellefontaine, Ohio, has a 25-man roster of audio gear, and let me tell you, the farm system is loaded too. We're talking amplifiers, audio mixers, microphones, headphones, music stands, car audio, and all the cables and connectors you need to build your setup the right way. And this is not some random brand either. 5Core has more than 35 years experience, trusted products, great prices, and quality merchandise currently supplied to more than 65 countries worldwide. So whether you're starting your first podcast, upgrading your home studio, setting up for live events, or just tired of sounding like you're recording from the bottom of a Gatorade cooler, 5core.com is worth your time. They even have podcast bundles that can include a mixer, microphone, headphones, and a microphone stand, depending on how much money you want to invest. I've seen bundles starting as low as $29.99, and with over 900 different products, 5Core gives you options without waking your wallet and tapping it out in the first round. With an unwavering commitment to quality, innovation, and excellence, 5Core.com is ready to help you sound better, record cleaner, and build the setup you've been putting off. So from OHIO, support them, support us here at All Gloves Off Sports Media, head to 5Core.com and save 10%. Upgrade your sound. You won't be sorry. And now back to your favorite sports podcast. Please be generous with me on these first few ad reads. I am not a voiceover person. I've had to get better at it because we've been doing the audio blogs on the podcasting feed. I probably sounded like I was thinking like Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, like because my dad works at the very top level of the house, and I was sitting not at the not in the basement where I am now, but I was sitting kind of like at the main level in our man cave recording those, and it would be like, "Welcome to bench the far end of the." Damn it. Okay, click back to welcome to the far end of the bench podcast. Do you need Farcast equipment? Damn it. Go again. Take 25. Take 45. Okay. I finally got it. So yeah, no, I appreciate All Gloves Off Sports Media. Check out 5Core if you are a podcaster yourself. I'm probably going to be going over to that website and making sure that I get some things. The Broncos were featured, and I heard this, and I'm interested to get your thoughts. It is a little bit tongue-in-cheek. If the Broncos were to have pulled off the miracle with Jarrett Stidham in the AFC Championship, made it to the Super Bowl, I think we're both sitting here without Bo Nix. There is very little reality that we can see them winning the Super Bowl. But if they make it to the Super Bowl, do you think that Seth Wickersham turns this into a book instead of just a feature article on ESPN? Because he was there the entire year. He was there from the beginning of training camp through the end of the playoff run. The most amount of access I can remember a Broncos media member, ESPN media member from any year that I grew up on Shanahan. We had Vance Joseph. Nobody ever wanted to do a feature on him. We had Vic Fangio, and now with Sean Payton. So like that was pretty big. But if they make it to the Super Bowl, do you see this as a book instead of just a feature article?
I don't. This is an awesome conversation. I don't know. I mean, I thought some of the things were interesting in here. I don't really know the difference between what poses as an article as opposed to making it into a book. Obviously, it would have been a magical run if we made it to the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback and get our ass kicked by Seattle. I think it was a lot less painful way of losing the way we did, fortunately, to the end of our season. But I mean, there were some interesting things out of this. The whole Belichick thing was very interesting.
I was going to say we used to have a segment on this show called Factor Cap. We also could have called it Factor Crap. But apparently, Sean Payton had the idea, and it was never fully pitched. He said he floated it. He never put the term pitched. And if you're a business major in college right now, you understand the difference. He floated the idea to Greg Penner of, it's bullshit that Bill Belichick wasn't put into the NFL Hall of Fame. Why don't you hire him on as the head coach? I'll step back as the offensive coordinator, get him those 15 wins so he breaks Don Shula's record, and then the NFL has to put him into the Hall of Fame. Like, apparently that was a real idea that Sean Payton had throughout this. You can't just put that in this article if it's not true. So apparently there was some credence to it.
Yeah, man. I thought that was Sean Payton. Payton is an interesting cat, that's for sure. I don't know how
he's doing some real heavy PR to try and make sure he gets into the Hall of Fame. I think he saw Belichick not get into the Hall of Fame. And he's like, fuck, I definitely have to win a second Super Bowl, or I have to start being more of a nice guy in the media. One of those two, because if I continue my path, obviously I'm never getting in. Because he's only won one Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL Hall of Fame is outside baseball the next hardest Hall of Fame to get in, that's for sure. So it's definitely a hard conversation. But, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. Obviously, it never was even talked about. I'm sure Bill found out about this the same way.
Loaded.
That's what I'm saying. I'm I'm sure Bill found out about this the same way the rest of America did. So in reality, it was nothing. But it is interesting that, I mean, I've been in background conversations about players and different things in the sports world. So like that's with my job. So that's it's a normal thing. Like I've heard some crazy things be thrown out. Like we signed a guy in San Diego. We signed a guy off the street that has been retired for 3 years, and he came in and played for us. He's playing for us again this week. Like those conversations that happen in the back of the house. Like it may seem wild. But there's a reason why most of these don't ever get out in the real world. Okay, is all I'm gonna say. Is like I've heard some wild things about, like, obviously the whole Sakic signing had a deal signed somewhere else, and then the Avs said no, and they forked over a lot of money. I heard like deals about Elway, like threatening to go back to baseball.
Dan Reeves wanted to trade Elway before he got fired here in Denver. He wanted to trade Elway.
Trade Elway, or Elway was threatening to go back to baseball. Like there's a lot of that's a normal thing to happen in the world of sports. So it's weird. But it's also at the same time you have to take it with a grain of salt as a story of like, yeah, that's just another funny.
They needed something to post, and as a content creator, we understand that now, right?
Yeah. It's a conversation that's just floated out there for a reason. So,
are the Broncos going to be taken more seriously now that they've had a national article come out about them? Are they going to be seen as more of a joke? Does this not even because? I totally forgot, Niko, Dom and I were such dorks this morning. We see this guy at football practice. We're coaching at Cherry Creek High School, and he walks by, and I go, "The guy's got to be in the league, right?" And Dom looks at him and goes, "I have no idea who it is." And then we hear the varsity defensive line coach talking, and we're giving him shit. It's like, "Oh, you had to go walk over and get your speaker." Yeah, I was working out Nick Benito here earlier, and he wanted the music over there. I was like, "Oh," and Dom didn't get it. I got it right in the moment. I went, "Oh, you got to be kidding me." And then he walked away, and I looked at Tom and I said, "That guy we were talking about earlier that we said definitely had to be in the league?" He goes, "Yeah." That was Nick Benito.
That's one of the best pass rushers in the league. And that's that guy over there.
That was Nick Benito. We didn't even, because we're freshman coaches. I was like, we could have asked him, "Hey, stick around a little bit when our freshmen go off to their conditioning. Can you give him a little bit of a pep talk?" Like, no. I felt as dumb as I did when I saw Brendan Schaub at the Bellevue Square King Supers coming off of his Ultimate Fighter appearance. I was like, I know who that is. I should just go over there and introduce myself. And I was like, I thought twice about it. And today when I heard that, I was like, that was Nick Benito. Cool. That was so awesome. I'm so happy that I didn't even talk to him. Awesome.
Yeah, it is very funny how, I mean, we live in an area where a lot of athletes like are just common occurrences around here. I mean, Payton, like if you've won a Super Bowl in Denver and don't have a restaurant in Denver, something's wrong with you. Peyton's got a restaurant.
I was gonna say, my team used to play after Peyton Manning's youth games before he moved his son to Louisiana.
Peyton's got a restaurant coming in, I believe in Littleton here in the next couple of years. They just put the plans to fit together, so that's exciting. Yeah, I mean, like this is a off-season conversations. There's nothing like getting off-season conversations out of the way.
Yeah. This is not an off-season conversation. This is not a drill. For the first time in 4 years, return of the Mac.
Was the last fight the Cerrone fight? Was that actually it?
No, it was it was either the Poirier or the Khabib beatdown. You got to remember, because it wasn't Khabib. It was, I think it was the Poirier.
That was before COVID.
I think it was the Poirier.
I think it was Poirier. I can't remember off the top.
He has not won a fight in these last 4 years that he's been out, and he's.
The last win was Cowboy. I'm pretty sure when I was there. Like I'm pretty sure that
we were in college. We were juniors or seniors in college. Last time that he won a fight in Las Vegas.
Yeah. It's been a while. It's been a while.
I don't know if I'm sure that you have, because if you know, for the new listeners here on the All Glove Sports Media Network, Niko and I are big UFC fans. Like do we talk about it every week on the show? No, because not everybody is as big of fans as we are. But when McGregor was rising, and we didn't have the Aldo fight, but like McGregor was still the biggest star in the UFC because Rousey was gone into WWE at that point. When we first started the show, McGregor, that was appointment. We are going to talk about it on the podcast. We both know what we're talking about when we know UFC. Niko's dad and Niko know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and a lot of these guys, like we're going to talk about one of the guys here on UFC 329 that has a Colorado tie that you guys are familiar with. But just when McGregor comes back, there's something different. Do you think that we're going to see the McGregor that fought Donald Cerrone? Because what he's come out, like he went on Ariel Helwani's podcast and was very open. He's like, I made so many poor decisions. I am very lucky that anybody is still in my life.
He's very lucky he's not in jail. Let me put it that way.
Very lucky he's not in jail.
Like he's gonna be his ass kicked. Let me just put
this is not the same Max that he fought.
This is like he's
didn't he fight Max Holloway in 2020
2012 or like 20.
I was gonna say it's like 2014.
Like
we
one
were
of
in
his
high
first
school.
fights in the UFC. Yeah, look,
And one of Max's first fights in the UFC.
Max Holloway's gonna run through him. Like UFC is one of the few sports I can gamble on still. Okay, because there's not a lot of ties to it, and I'll tell you right now, Holloway is that. Okay, I don't. I want you to look up who his last fight was because I'm serious. Like I'm not going to believe it's like the John Jones thing. I'm not going to believe McGregor's going to fight until the bell rings. I'm going to be honest with you, because something stupid's going to happen where he's going to try to do the return of the Mac and just go crazy and do the strut walk and everything.
Oh, it was Michael Chandler. Oh, that actually was canceled. It was supposed to be UFC 303. It was canceled.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, I remember that because I remember that.
January 23rd, 2021, knocked out by Dustin Poirier. Before that, his last fight before that Poirier fight was Donald Cerrone, January 18th, 2020. So prior to COVID. And you came on my initial podcast and we talked about that one because you were in the crowd. And then the fight before that in 2018 was the Khabib fight. So it is, I mean, his kid is freaking 10 years old.
Tell me the date, Jimmy.
Of which fight?
No, right now. Tell me the date.
Oh, it is July 8th, 2026.
Yes, and his last win was 6 years ago.
Yes.
But before COVID.
I mean, 6.5 years ago, if we really want to be nitpicking.
Yeah,
January 18th, 2020.
That was before COVID.
Yes.
Actually, COVID was a thing, but like before the world.
It was 2 months before the world shut down.
Kids that were born on January. What'd you say? January what? January 26th?
18th.
January 18th, 2026 are now in elementary school.
Yeah.
I'm
about to start teaching them here in a couple years.
I mean, like, this is not like this. This is making the UFC money just for the hell of it. Like that's what it is.
Well,
like,
and it's on Paramount, so they're making.
I want Holloway to knock his ass out. I was a McGregor fan at the beginning, and then all the other stuff out of the ring just disgusted me, and I just have really been turned off and really just been like no. And everyone knows that Max Holloway to me is appointment television. Okay, it is Max Holloway Fight Week. We used to say that weekly when all we had was UFC Fight Island. Okay, in 2020,
it was either Max Holloway or Justin Gaethje Fight Week, and they
every
fought each other too.
Every fucking week, because those two said, "Yep, sign me up. I'll go
to Saudi Arabia.
I'll go to Saudi and sign up for a fight." And those two, we were like, "Yep, we're doing it. Sign me up." And now we only get it like 3 times a year. And I'm telling you right now, it's Max Holloway Fight Week, and Max Holloway is going to put an absolute ass kicking to Conor McGregor.
I think he has something to prove being left off the White House card. I think he wanted to be on there. I know Hawaii is not
fine. That's fine. But do we really think that it probably wasn't his own doing why he wasn't on that card?
I mean, if at this point, if anybody gets a fight and a contract signed by Conor McGregor, yeah, I totally understand. I would pull myself out of any of the biggest events in the world. I would probably cancel my contract if Conor McGregor said, "You know what, Jimmy Pilato, you and I going to fight in Vegas July 18th." And, okay, sorry, I will be dead by the time my teaching contract starts. But Conor McGregor is going to pay me $300 million to go fight him. The UFC is paying me $300 million to go fight Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I feel, and we're in a weird world with UFC, and I don't know what the numbers have looked like since the move to Paramount, but I really think that they are hurting a lot right now.
It's not going to the fighters.
I think UFC 250, Freedom 250, I think that helped a lot. I think that the numbers did great, but I don't think this Paramount deal is as beneficial as the ESPN. Like, I'm sorry, I don't think that the fighters and the national ESPN talk shows where they had the fighters come on, they had the show with Cormier and Ryan Clark. They don't have that with Paramount. Yeah, they have these other things, and I think they're running out the Ultimate Fighter with Daniel Cormier and Michael Bisping in the year 2026.
Yeah, and those coaches aren't ever going to be able to
fight again. That
was the whole point of the Ultimate Fighter. I wanted to see these guys coach the young guys, and I wanted to see Randy Couture and Chuck Liddell fight it in the fucking
exactly. Like, that was the whole thing, and now we're getting coaches like, no offense to DC and Bisping,
they're great coaches.
Great coaches.
Obviously, Bisping is a great coach. He's been a coach on the Ultimate Fighter. This is like what, his 4th or 5th time?
Yeah, it's like they're not fighting. Like the whole point of this is having the fighters coaching these new guys. Like, that's not the whole situation with Conor McGregor and who was the snake? Oh my gosh, it was with the Beebs camp.
Oh, it was
Oh my gosh, what was the guy's name?
oh my goodness, it was in Team Alpha Male. It was one of your
it was
favorites, TJ Dillashaw.
It was Dillashaw.
TJ Dillashaw.
It was DJ, the Colorado guy too.
Who got
Dillashaw.
no? He's a California kid. He lived in Colorado when he was doing his steroids.
That's right. Yeah, he popped with roids. I know that. But yeah, I don't think this goes any other way than Max Holloway beating the crap out of him, and I'm gonna enjoy watching it. I mean, I won't be able to watch it, but I'll enjoy watching it.
I think the other fight that you're probably most excited about, well, let's get the connection that I said out of the way. Brandon Royval is fighting Lonier Kavanaugh on this one. But the other one that everybody's really excited about is Paddy the Body. Paddy is co-main event, and he's going up against I almost read one of my versus people out there. He's going up against Benoit Saint Denis. So,
all right, so hold on. I want you to do some research for me. What is the weight that Conor McGregor Holloway are fighting at? Probably 155, maybe 175, something like that.
Yeah, I got it. Here we
go. I would assume 155, but I don't know what McGregor's at these days. I think that's what Holloway has been fighting at.
For Holloway, let's see, 170 pounds. Welterweight.
Okay, welterweight. And then what is Paddy fighting at?
Paddy, he was a lightweight.
So it's probably like what, 185?
No, lightweight is 155.
155. Okay, so I'll bet you $20 right now that Paddy weighs in for 170 as well.
Could be.
Because I guarantee you they're prepared for something. They're saying, Paddy, we're going to need – I guarantee you Dana's back there saying, hey, Paddy, look, let's be honest with ourselves. Conor will do something stupid and we'll probably be at risk of this card collapsing, and we can't have that. So we're going to need you to – him and Benoit Saint Denis, we're going to need you both to be able to be prepared to fight at 170. And one of you two will be able to fight for the BMF title. Like, I guarantee it, because Conor McGregor is not someone that is a trustworthy person to be able to put on the fight. Same with John Jones. Same exact road. But in both of them, like you have to, until they step foot in the octagon and you hear ding, 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 I am not going to expect a Conor McGregor fight. That's all I'm going to say. And I think Holloway, if they do start the fight, will beat the crap out of him.
And the other Colorado connection here, Corey Sandhagen is fighting Mario Bautista before Paddy Pimblett fights. So he is 145, so he's 2 weight classes below. He's probably not going to be weighing in at 170, but that was a guy for a little bit of time. We were like, oh, he's going to light the world on fire. He's going to fight Aljamain Sterling and win the 145 strap, and he just never did. Never really got to that next level. So UFC 329, it's on Paramount Plus. So if you watch Yellowstone, if you watch 1990, 1923, 1883, Tulsa King, no, Invincible is Amazon.
Or they're sorry, the Boys. Then it's the Boys. Right?
No, the Boys is Amazon too.
Fuck.
You can watch all of those things on Amazon if you have a Paramount.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, Paramount has SpongeBob. Paramount has SpongeBob. And the SWAT.
They coincide with our main SpongeBob. Makes sense.
Yeah. South Park too is also where you can watch all of the South Park episodes streaming. That is where UFC 329 is going to be this weekend. I believe it's on Sunday, so they're doing it on a Sunday even still. So a little bit strange. It's time for our summer event, the Versus Battle. This one, it came to me, and I was very happy that it did. I've started to see some of these really deep into fantasy football shows come out with their mock drafts, and I'm like, I'm not paying attention to it. I probably should, because guess what, Niko? I'm going to have to be running a mile here. We got to find a new track, because that track that we ran it at last year, it's no longer there. I'm now working at Cherry Creek. They're turning that into tennis courts, so we're going to have to find a new track. I should probably be paying attention to this. But we have our versus debate, and I text you. I just wanted to be all-time fantasy lineups. So it can be we got 5 positions. We're doing quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end flex, which can be another wide receiver, or a tight end position or a running back position, technically, depending on the league that you're in. And then we also have a defense. And we're picking any year possible, which means that I think we can go back to the 1980s, which was when 1980s or 1990s, when one of the first fantasy years was there. I didn't go back that far. I did put a few that when I was my dad's fantasy general manager with the league that my uncle used to run, I put a few that I was very proud of, because I was not winning championships all the time when I was the GM for my dad's team, but he was always competitive. He was definitely always in the playoffs and always competitive. So I have a few that
I have not been able to pick, and it's going to seem like they're a little bit from back in time, but I will let you go ahead and start for our quarterback position. Who are you going to put out for your all-time fantasy lineup?
I mean, I think he's going to go down as the greatest fantasy football quarterback in history, mainly because of his dual threat ability. And I'm going 2019 Lamar Jackson. Obviously, Jimmy and I have our conversations about Lamar, right, and his ability to be a big-time quarterback.
I was going to say, is he a quarterback or is he a running back?
One thing you cannot deny is that Lamar Jackson is a top fantasy quarterback every single year, no matter what. And that 2019 season, which I believe was his MVP season as well, he racked up 415.7 total fantasy points that season, he averaged 26 points per game. Just for those that were keeping track of points there. That's an insane amount. A guy that obviously rushes for a lot of touchdowns, throws some touchdowns too. Having it like the new wave of dual threat quarterbacks, like the Jalen Hurts of the world, Josh Allen's of the world as well, like have really elevated that position of being like, if you want to draft a fantasy quarterback, you cannot just the pocket passing quarterbacks no longer just do it for you. That's the crazy thing is like in the 2010s, fantasy football was dominated by Payton, by Tom Brady, by Andrew Luck, by those pocket pass quarterbacks. But the new wave of fantasy football quarterbacks and what Lamar, what Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes does in that conversation too, it really has really been dynamic for us fantasy managers. So Lamar Jackson 2019 season is up there for me.
Yeah, when I was picking my quarterback, there's no season of Burrow that I could have picked, and I could have gone back to the early 2000s or one of the mid 2000s years with Brady, but I also wanted to kind of twist the knife a little bit because you didn't pick him. And I was like, oh, well, Peyton Manning in 2013, he averaged 18 points a game, and he started the season that year with 7 touchdowns on Thursday Night Football against Baltimore Ravens. So if you happen to draft, because that was the big debate back then.
That was the 2010s. That was the guy to pick. That was the guy who Peyton was.
Everybody was like, "Oh, are you going to draft Brady or Manning, or are you going to draft Rodgers?" Because Rodgers had a few years. I was considering Rodgers in 2011 when he won his MVP and that Super Bowl, but I just couldn't do it. I had to go with Peyton. That was the 50 touchdown season. That was when everybody learned who Julius. Oh, now I'm forgetting his last name. Who was the tight end? Julius Thomas. Yeah. I used to think of him and Demaryius as brothers, even though I know they weren't. But Julius Thomas at tight end, everybody thought that he was going to be the next Tony Gonzalez because of how good Peyton was with using him in that offense. And Peyton Manning in 2013, that is up until recently, that was the class of any season, both fantasy and actual season, a quarterback has ever had.
Peyton went off. Like that was the year that obviously we had the heartbreaker loss, the wild card round. That talent with
Andrew Luck,
Wes Welker, Eric Decker, DT, obviously Julius Thomas. Like you said, that offense was nasty.
No Sean Moreno in the backfield too. Don't forget those Super Bowl tears because that. Oh no, that wasn't the Super Bowl year. That was a couple years.
That was the year before.
The year before. Ooh, okay. Running back. I will let you go with this one too because recently we haven't had a chance to talk about it, but I'm very glad that you put him on this list so that we can give him his credit because that is a terrible story. But your fantasy season, amazing.
My fantasy season I went with CJ2K. The one guy who has a nickname from fantasy football, funny enough, 2,000 yards, Chris Johnson. For those that don't know, Chris Johnson has ALS. It was diagnosed last year, and obviously just
already on the visual speech
which
aid.
Is just absolutely heartbreaking. I hope that everyone's has him in the prayers and that he's able to recover somehow and can fight through this and that everyone has his back because that is such a shitty situation. I hope the best for him. But Chris Johnson in his prime, 2009, that season, I remember everyone thinking, yeah, Adrian Peterson, yeah, this, yeah, that, yeah, Chris Johnson just doing Chris Johnson things. You want to talk about video game numbers? 2,000 yards in 1 year is the stupidest stat like we may ever see
in a 16-game season. By the way,
16-game season. Like running backs these days don't even make 2,000 yards in 18 games. Like that year. it was, or 17 games, excuse me. That year was incredible and one of the best fantasy years of all time with Chris Johnson, 2009.
And I think he's the only person to go over 1,800 multiple times in his career.
358 carries for 2,006 yards, a staggering 5.6 yards per carry. That's how fucking stupid that was. With 14 rushing.
And it's not like he had an all-pro offensive line. The Titans' offensive line was not good that season.
And then on top of that, 50 receptions for 500 yards. That's total 2,500 yards from scrimmage and 16 total touchdowns.
That's what it is. Nobody else has gone for 2,500 and 16 touchdowns.
392.9 PPR fantasy points. That must have been some rough numbers because that feels like a lot more. It should have been a lot more than that. But it is one of the greatest single running back seasons of all time, and CJ2K is well deserving of being on this list.
Yeah, I don't talk about it a lot, but I do have family members that are battling ALS, and his move progressed pretty quickly. And I didn't realize that's one of the risks that you take when you play high level contact football for a long time is you run the risk of developing that. It is, they don't have a cure. They don't really know what causes it, but it is one of the most debilitating things because your body basically shuts down from the outside in. So the last thing to go would be your lungs. And that is a very terrifying way of thinking. So yes, Chris Johnson, I applaud him for deciding to do that Good Morning America hit with Michael Strahan. And I applaud Michael Strahan for allowing that story to be told because it does need to happen. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I had absolutely no clue. I still thought of Chris Johnson as a guy that could probably walk out on his driveway and dunk because he was just that level of a freak athlete. And then seeing the reality of things, it is totally different. My running back, this is not going to be very nice for you. I don't know how much Bronco football you were paying attention to in 2006, but I remember the LT season when he was on the Chargers with Drew Brees. That 2006 season from LaDainian Tomlinson. If I had him as my fantasy running back, Niko, you would not have beaten me in that season. No way, no how. I could have had anybody else at quarterback, receiver. If I had LaDainian Tomlinson in 2006, I believe that was the year he went 20 receiving touchdowns, 20 rushing touchdowns. Just an absolute monster, both running it and catching it. Really one of the first true running back weapons that you could put in fantasy football because it's 2006. Not many people know about that. And LaDainian Tomlinson, it ended up getting him a big ass contract in New York that 2006 season in San Diego.
Yeah, I mean the LT was different. LT was
so good he was able to get the LT nickname from Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, that's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Like Daniel Thompson, man. Like in terms of running backs, you think would strive today. Like I would have just loved to see what LT would have done in today's running back game. Like I think he would have been a different version of Jahmyr Gibbs, but 10 times better. Like he would have been a guy that just hits the hole so hard and has that burst of speed. Who just thinking about it, seeing that 21 down the stretch. If the Chargers had a guy like LT still, man, that they'd be a force to be reckoned with us all.
They've been searching for their LT ever since he left, and they have not been able to find him whatsoever. I'm going to move to wide receiver first because you have two wide receivers. My only wide receiver on my roster, Randy Moss in 2007. I believe he scored 25 of Tom Brady's 50 touchdowns that season. I was very close. I wanted to put his 2003 season with Minnesota, but I went with the Patriots because the production levels of that offense, if you drafted Tom Brady that season, I believe that was the year after my dad and I drafted him. He tore his ACL the season before or the season after that, one of the 2 years. I got him the year that he tore his ACL. That was the guy that I recommended my dad draft in the first round. And watching that New England versus Kansas City game still brings me nightmares. But Randy Moss playing with Tom Brady, that was a cheat code that the league did not understand. And damn, that was fun to watch.
I mean, it's Randy Moss was a cheat code in so many different levels. When he got to New England, it was just different, and it was different. That was the greatest regular season team of all time that never had a ring. It's so funny to think about that team never winning it.
18-1,
and Randy Moss being the best, one of the best, if not the best receiver of all time, up there with Jerry Rice, and that's his best statistical season of all time. It's one for the record books. You mentioned it. You gave me an option of flex / tight end. I don't have many allegiances to any tight ends, really.
You're not going to like my allegiance to the tight end.
That's fine. I understand where it's coming from. but my two receivers won me championships, okay? And two of the best statistical seasons for a couple of reasons. One, my first receiver, I went Cooper Kupp 2021. Niko, what happened? Or Jimmy, what happened in 2021?
You won your dynasty league.
No.
Oh,
Cooper Kupp did that little thing called the triple crown, where he led the league in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. A guy
Niko, that was the season they beat the. No, that was 2 seasons before. Never mind. Okay. I prematurely threw my deodorant. I'll go pick that up later.
That was not the year. But that Cooper Kupp statistical season, I remember everyone's like, well, they have Robert Woods. That's the number one guy. Who's this Cooper Kupp guy out of Eastern Washington? Is he any good? And he was a guy that wasn't highly drafted, a guy that was like you can get in the 7th round still, and a guy that was a pickup and a pickup waiver wire guy, and he led the league with a triple crown, something that has not been done ever. Like this in terms of statistical fantasy seasons, it is up there in the top 5 of total points for receivers. Like what Cooper Kupp did as a I believe he was undrafted, if not like a 7th.
Yeah, he was one of those
something
out
really,
of Eastern
really
Washington with the red turf, by the way.
Exactly. Like that triple crown year, I cannot let me say this again. 145 receptions, 1,947 yards. Hold on, let me say that again. Nearly 20 football fields long of receptions, or 200 football fields long. Am I doing my math right? 200, I think. 200.
100 times 20 gets to 2,000. Yes.
So yes. So 100, 20 football fields long and 16 touchdowns. The triple fucking crown as a receiver. Like we haven't seen a triple crown from a receiver. I think the last one was Randy
Jamar
Moss.
Chase.
Oh no, before Cooper Kupp.
Oh yeah, before that one. No.
Before that, I believe it was like it was Randy Moss. I think it was the last one.
Yeah.
It had been like 15 years, and obviously Jamar did it too. But like before Cooper Kupp, it had been a very very long time since that was done, and that year just unstoppable and a fantasy winner.
Yeah, I'll go quickly. My tight end, I picked the pandering pick because these have been very close.
They're newly married.
Goals. Yeah, newly married. I should have put Travis Kelce or Taylor Swift's new husband here in my tight end slot, but this was the year that Taylor Swift was shoved down our throats by Tony Romo and the CBS Sports Network because the Chiefs were on CBS every damn week, and she was in the box every damn week. And this was so long ago, she was still friends with Blake Lively. So all of you Swifties, yes, I keep up on some pop culture. Do I talk about it all the time? No. But yeah, I know this. Hey, Taylor Swift's husband deserves to be one of my best on my all-time fantasy rosters because that 2022 season, it was that or his 2020 season. He is I'm seeing it now. I have a basketball player that's playing tight end, and we were running some one-on-ones, and I'm coaching linebackers for the defensive side. And as he was going, I was like, uh-oh. I just saw the linebacker that was covering him is like, oh, he's about to just pivot and post in the freaking paint right here, and he's just going to box this guy out for that ball.
Especially in PPR leagues, Travis Kelce was a cheat code in his prime. Like that was Mahomes is just throw, catch, fall. Like that was consistently like when all else failed, find 87. And then PPR leagues with Kelce, it was a cheat code. Why he was a top 5 pick in some years. Like that's why how good he was. My last flex pick. This isn't like by far one of the better seasons. I don't think it's up there for one of the best seasons, but it's a pick that, in my opinion, I think is the greatest waiver wire pickup player in the history.
You got him on waivers?
I picked Puka Nacua is who we're talking about. Puka Nacua has won me 2 fantasy football championships. Let me put that out there. Okay, won back-to-back dynasty fantasy football championships. I drafted him in the 13th round. 13th round, which basically is a waiver wire pickup where you're just grasping at straws. Okay. And that dude became the wide receiver 1 out of nowhere. In most leagues that were redrafts, right? Puka Nacua was a waiver wire draft pickup, and he probably won you the league if you were the first on that waiver wire and you lost week 1 back in 2025 or 2024, 2025 his rookie year. Like that year for Puka Nacua, unreal statistics. MVP caliber campaign, 129 catches, 1,700 yards, 10 touchdowns on 166 targets. That's just an insane amount as a young rookie. Like Stafford, brought him in. He came onto the team as I believe Devontae Adams was still. Oh no, it wasn't Devontae.
No, it was Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was the wide receiver one. Nakua was the undrafted or fourth round guy that they put in as the other receiver.
He was going to be the third receiver behind Robert Woods, and then he comes in and
damn Bobby Trees, man.
He takes over and is just the number one guy. Obviously, I mean we could have both put Calvin Johnson on this list too. Matthew Stafford receivers.
Calvin Johnson, Adrian Peterson.
Matthew Stafford receivers are something that just he loves his number one guys. Okay, he loves his number one guys.
Hey, when you had a 6'6" Megatron as your number one receiver for the first 10 years of your career, you'd love your number one receivers too.
Like Stafford, like legit. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this is a interesting like anecdote or what it may be, but like he's played with some of the best fantasy football receivers ever. Like,
is it the receivers or is it Matthew Stafford?
I don't know. That's the question. Is I don't know if it's him or if it's them. Like it could be both. It could be one or the other.
Did you know that he also went to high school with Clayton Kershaw?
He did. Oh my gosh, he did. I did not know.
Nobody's ever said that before, right?
I've never heard that before. Thank you.
Nobody's ever said that. Tell me who your defense is.
Our defense is a homer pick. It's the Denver Broncos 2015 team. It's the team that led the league in sacks. It's the team that led the league in interceptions and also touchdowns. That defense had. I don't know what it'll be at the end of our lifetimes, how many Hall of Famers, but it already has 3. It has DeMarcus Ware, it has Von Miller, it has Keith Sleeve, 3 surefire Hall of Famers. I don't know if Harris will be there. I don't know if TJ Ward will be there.
I was going to say,
I think that's the
very
closest
few.
ones.
They were a very good unit while they were in Denver, but when they left, none of them really went on and did
anything else
outside of Vaughn, outside of Akib, and DeMarcus. This was his last stop on his career. So
like Wade Phillips, this defense was cooking something every single week that made a life a living hell. I remember.
Are you sure you want to give Wade Phillips praise because you know that's why they hired Vic Fangio, right?
I'm aware of that, but Wade Phillips was the main reason why we won the Super Bowl. So I am going to give him my praise. But yeah, that defense was just unreal and just so special. And I mean, I think it really gets hated on and not given the respect in terms of all-time defenses. Yeah, the Seahawks defense this year was really, really good, but I think this Broncos.
It was nowhere near the 2015 Broncos defense. The no-fly zone was not the Legion of Boom, but the no-fly zone does deserve its own credit because they were very there was a few games. That Minnesota game when Teddy Two Gloves was playing quarterback for the Vikings against us at home, and I was like, "There's no flipping way the Broncos are going to lose to the Vikings at home with Peyton Manning as the quarterback." Then all of a sudden, it's the strip sack fumble and the Broncos recovered. Game's over. That was cool. The defense took care of that. So, my defense. If you're trying to put together a fantasy roster, if you're picking defense, whatever round that you decide to pick defense in, you have to look at all 3 levels and you go, yeah, they're better than everybody there, and they're better than everybody there. They're definitely better than everybody there. And that's exactly what you did with the 2000 Ravens. Tony, the Goose Saragusa at nose guard. Nobody's getting up to Ray Lewis to be able to block him because the Goose takes up 3 separate offensive linemen to try and block him. Ray Lewis, he killed a guy. Or allegedly killed a guy. Yeah, he had deer antler spray in the Super Bowl in 2011, allegedly. 2012, allegedly. Can't tell me that he's not one of the greatest linebackers of all time.
I mean,
Ed Reed?
I think he's the greatest linebacker of all time.
I do think so too. Him and Urlacher for me go back and forth, but he won Super Bowls and Urlacher never did. So
I think it's the conversation between him and like the Buckuses and those Bears teams way back in the day. I think that's the conversation for greatest linebacker ever. But Ray Lewis to me was just a different mindset and a different animal. There's a reason why in 2026 people still use his hype speeches in videos to get
they still bring him in to do live speeches. He doesn't even play anymore, and he still gets brought into different organizations around the world and gets told to speak.
He was just one of one, and then we haven't even touched on Ed Reed, like probably the most fun safety of all time. Guy that
made Bill Belichick and Tom Brady stay up at night. Like, how the fuck are we gonna try and attack Ed Reed on this Sunday?
Just the psycho, and like that Miami team, boy, with them. That's my kind of college football right there. The prime Miami days with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. Oh, that's lovely.
Luther Campbell on the sidelines from 2 Live Crew. Yeah, I love that Miami. Let us know. Make sure that you vote in the social media polls. We will have that out there. I was using my mouse even though I'm on my laptop here. Make sure you vote in the polls. Well, who has the greatest all-time fantasy football roster? And if you want to, you can let us know why in the comments as soon as you're subscribed and following us at FEOTB Pod and all that good stuff. Moving from verses, we are coming towards the end of our show. Over the last 6 years, this is one thing that's remained very consistent. We always have a player of the week. We always have a benchwarmer of the week. So for you All Glove Sports Media fans, this is your first taste. For you benchwarmers, you're telling me, why the hell are you explaining this to all the new people? I get it. Just bear with me. Niko's going first. What are your awards for this week?
Okay, well, let's start with the good. Okay, it's the Viking. It's Erling Haaland of Norway. The guy scored obviously 2 goals against Brazil. Obviously, excellent header and just a goal that with his left foot that didn't look like it should have went in. I was playing FIFA before I had a team meeting call before we recorded the show, and I was playing against Manchester City who has Haaland on the team, and I had a bicycle kick scored on me, and I had never had a bicycle kick scored on me ever in FIFA. And I sat there and watched and be like, I'm playing on like world class, like 2 notches below the highest level, and I'm getting bicycle kicks from this motherfucker. Like, Haaland is a different thing. And the fact that he can put Braut Haaland and you have the Norwegian the writing, the script, the Viking God script on the numbers, like, these are some of the best uniforms you'll ever see. The black is beautiful. The red jersey with the big cross from the Norway flag is beautiful. Haaland is a different freak. I love it. I'm loving all the content. He's funny too. He's very funny. I don't know if you've seen his TikToks, but they played in Dallas-Fort Worth, and he was like going around town. And he's like, I need one thing. I need a cowboy hat. And he walked around about 5 different stores and looked for a cowboy hat that would fit his head. And he found one finally. He was like, now I've finally made it in Texas. It's great. It's great content. And Haaland is the best. Should I say best player in the world? I don't know if I can do best player in the world, but easily a top 3 best player in the world. I don't know if I have the credentials to say he's the best player in the world, but he's up there, okay? And Haaland, oh man, he is head next.
He is special.
He is 1-1. All right. Now that that's out of the way, I wanted to save this until I got to Benchwarmer of the Week. But my Deutschland had one of the most embarrassing exits of all fucking time in the first round. And I didn't get to talk about this last week because we had a week off, okay? But Leroy fucking Sané, fucking just the worst footballer I've ever seen in my life. Germany loses to Paraguay, okay? It's bad performance, okay? I could go to Manuel Neuer, had a bad tournament. But the main person that just makes me lose my mind is what Leroy Sané did in the World Cup. I'm trying to pull up his stats right now. But it was the worst performance I've ever seen. The dude produced nothing, absolutely nothing in this World Cup tournament, and especially was just as bad in the elimination game. It was one of the most pathetic things ever. I'm trying to find these stats for the life of me. Fuck, I'll look it up. But I was so disgusted with what Leroy Sané put out. The dude did not win one-on-one battle. He was 0 for, I believe, like 8 on contested passes. Basically, was a walking turnover. He was a guy that came into the lineup because Leonard Carl was injured in pre-match tournaments. And oh my God, I'm not blaming the Germany loss on Leroy Sané, but my gosh, I hope he never puts on a German kit again. This man needs to go back to Galatasaray and just never step foot in Deutschland. I cannot do this with him, and it was one of the worst performances I've ever seen. I am so happy that Germany sacked Jurgen Klinsmann.
4 matches, 1 goal, 0 assists.
That I know that's not even the full stats. There's stats out there that tell you like 50-50 balls, like his contests, and like all that. I don't know if that's something that's shown on ESPN or what it is, but I'll try to figure it out. I was so disgusted with how he played. It was horrendous.
I got to tell you this, but I'll tell the benchwarmers and the new listeners. I was watching the Germany-Paraguay game in a sports book in Las Vegas, Nevada, with probably about 70 to 80 Paraguayan fans.
Everybody. Hold on. Let me put it this way. Everybody that was watching the game was a Paraguayan fan, unless you have German descent. It was rough as a German fan. It was very rough.
That is,
I was sitting on a beach because luckily in San Diego, I was nice. I stayed an extra day in San Diego. I found a watch party in San Diego where I got to sit in the ocean and watch soccer. Exactly. I don't know who that was.
What was the first? What was the first text message I sent you right after the game?
I don't remember.
I said Auf Wiedersehen. You know how long I had that typed out in?
Yeah, and then
I had it typed out for about 15 minutes.
You asked for betting advice beforehand, and I was like,
yeah, that was for my brother's
I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know, but I think it's a good bet. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it was one of the worst bets ever. First of all,
I told him, I said, Paraguay's defense, just take whatever Paraguay's line is.
The fucking bus, and they're going to try to get it to a shootout, and that's what they did.
Yeah,
okay?
And I told him, I said, I don't know as much, but if it were me with what I've heard, I said, Paraguay plays defense. You make sure that you are able to beat them at the very end of the game, or you outscore the crap out of them. And I told them that, and I said, with that being said, you should take the plus 1.5. Take the plus 1.5. If you took the plus 1.5,
we clown. There's a big thing going around in the soccer world, clowning people for their park the bus strategies, and making sure that for those who don't know what park the bus means, first of all, play FIFA or play FC, whatever nowadays. Okay, it literally says park the bus when you want to play defensively, but park the bus works when you're a lesser team. And my gosh, I was so disgusted with that performance. I as a German fan, I was sitting there in the ocean being like, what the fuck? That is scheiße. What the fuck? Just all the
why are we giving the world Schadenfreude at our expense?
I just kept going on with every German cuss word possible. And at some point, I was like, I got to change the scenery. So I went back to the hotel and I watched it in the hotel bar where it was full of Paraguayan fans. And I was actually with German fans before that. So it made it a lot worse. And during the penalty kick, I was like, yes, he saved it. And the whole thing, everyone was looking at me, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Colonizer!
Everyone was like, Paraguay, yes. They all were going nuts for him. I was at my beautiful hotel in San Diego, Grand Manchester. Shout out, no free shouts. Nice hotel if I've ever stayed at. And there was a conference going on. Everyone stopped the conference, and they all came to watch this game on the big screen. And everybody was going nuts for Paraguay. And there was me going nuts in the little corner over Germany stopping it and getting a chance. And then I have Leon Goretzka, who I probably could have given my bench one week also to say,
is he the one that put it 15 rows in the stands?
No. That was Jonathan Todd, which, by the way, I'm not going to give him hate for because
he was the only one that stepped up.
He's the only one that stepped up and said, I want the ball. Everyone else like nine.
Scheiße.
Nine. Nicht gut. Just next one. I was like, you're kidding me? A defender has to step up? Jimmy, there has been, I don't know the full statistic on my head, but out of all the defenders that have stepped up to take a free penalty kick, 2 out of the 10 or 2 out of the 12 have made it.
Yeah.
There's a obvious reason to all this. And you're telling me, Goretzka, your last ever time putting on a German jersey, you could have stepped up? I'm looking at you like Musiala. Musiala stepped up already. I'm sorry, excuse me. So I'm looking at you, Goretzka. I'm looking at you like I'm Undaf. Man.
It was bad.
So
it was bad. But I wanted to make sure that you knew. I had Alvina Zane texted out in our little chat bubble. I was ready to delete it. When Paraguay sent that one that would have just clinched it and they had to go to extra penalties. I was so happy.
I was so excited. And look, I was very realistic that we would have lost to France, okay? I knew that was going to happen, but at the same time, it would have been nice to at least get that game because the Paraguay-France game was pathetic. And Paraguay tried to park the bus, and France said, oh, you want to try to do that against us?
They park the bus, I go around the bus.
I did take the bus. France says, I took
the bus into the goalie bus.
I'll tell you where the bus goes, and it's not going where you want it to go. And Germany did not do that, and yeah, that was just so frustrating. Sane had just one of the worst performances of all tournament. I don't know why he was in the squad or why he was even given the first team nod. Thank gosh that Jurgen Klinsmann is, or not Jurgen Klinsmann, excuse me. I don't even know his name. But the new they already sacked him and they brought in a new manager, Jurgen Klopp. So I'm excited for him.
There's been a lot of that, and we'll see what happens with Poach moving forward with the U.S. men's national team. My awards this week, I'm gonna bring it. I was thinking about putting in a baseball segment, but then I remembered, it's baseball, and the World Cup's going on right now. So it's baseball, and the World Cup's going on right now. I'm not really worried about it, but I will give this guy credit. Hunter Goodman, the catcher for your Colorado Rockies. That's right, your Colorado has a baseball team. They play professionally.
Oh
Sometimes.
no, we know we have a baseball team because we know we have a stadium. Okay, that's one thing that we do know.
But nobody knows what team plays at the
Nobody
stadium.
knows who this guy is. Nobody knows who this guy is. But
He's a two-time All-Star.
The
Rockies have one. They might have one that they can build around, or trade to the Cardinals and pay 3/4 of his salary in 3 years.
You do know, and I hate to just burst your bubble because I think you know this, but for the fans out there, every team gets an All-Star.
He's the one
that
the
is
one
a fact.
back to back.
I know that is a fact. Every team gets an All-Star. They get one token idiot. They get one token idiot from every team.
That was instituted because when they changed it from Atlanta to Colorado, the Rockies had no All-Stars that year.
I thought it was a couple years before that, but either way, it was a thing that was implemented very, very recently, and the Rockies have benefited from that. That we can say we have an All-Star. Well,
if the way that I'm seeing it and the way that I'm hearing people talk about it now, this should be the guy that we built. We have our big dumper. This is our catcher. He's our leader on the field. He's our leader at the plate right now. He hits the most home runs on the team. Like he's on pace for 40. Sure. Yeah, I don't know if I want him in the home run derby, but he is on pace for 40 home runs this season. Like there's really good things coming out.
We're not winning anything. Just put him in the derby and put some more eyes on the team. You know what I mean?
We could possibly lose less than 100 games, Niko. That is on the table this season. It is also on the table that we lose more games than last season. But hey, focus on the positive.
Exactly, focus on the positive.
Not focusing on the positive now. Do you know why Brendan Sorsby's back in the news as my bench warmer of the week?
I mean, my eyes are so bad. I thought that was Baker Mayfield.
No, that's Brendan Sorsby. If you look at the jersey that he's wearing, it says Cincy on it. So that gives you a little hint.
I do know who Brendan Sorsby is.
Yeah, no, Niko knows. We talked about Brendan Sorsby on the show. Like, he went back to Cincinnati, Niko. He is the king of the. No, he's not able to go back to Cincinnati, but he had his legal team and his agency put out some feelers. You know when you were in college and you sent that 2 a.m. text after you told the girl off earlier, you wanted to go out with a hotter girl, and then she dumped you and you didn't get any action, and you're sitting there at 2 a.m. You're like, I might as well text you up. Hey, Cincinnati, you want me to play quarterback again?
I don't.
He literally reached out like as much shit. The NFL came out in a statement. They didn't have to make a statement because the NFL had no supplemental draft plan for this year, but they felt like they needed to make a statement. And they came out in that statement and said, the Billy Madison, we weren't planning on having one. You are not a big enough reason to have a supplemental draft. And by the way, you bet on your own team. That is something we want nowhere near the NFL. So not only do I award you no points and everybody is dumber, like may God have mercy on your soul. That's basically what Cincinnati and the NFL and the NCAA has told him.
He's cooked. I mean, like that dude is better to start getting his degree in insurance because
if he doesn't have his degree by now, oh my God,
he's cooked. He'll get lucky if he gets the CFL. I mean, he'll get lucky.
CFL already made a statement that said no. The only league that has said they will be willing to play with him is the UFL. And you know who wants him? The Houston Gamblers.
Yeah, checks out.
I don't know if they really want him, but that's the low hanging fruit. The Houston Gamblers, Brendan Sorsby. Come on. Why not? It's not like you're gonna win anything in the UFL. That was a jam-packed summer episode once again. I think the World Cup. We're learning now. The World Cup being involved means that we're gonna have big summer episodes. We're about a month away from training camp really getting started, and then about a month and a half away from preseason games getting underway. But just with everything happening, we've said it at the beginning. Love our time at VSN. We are very excited for our new time now at All Gloves Off Sports Media. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. If this is your first time catching up with us, hopefully you continue to tell friends about us if you've been a bench warmer for a long time, and make sure you're subscribed and following at FEOTB Pod. Niko, what do you got for the people?
Enjoy the World Cup all last because we're recording this on the first day in 27 straight days without soccer, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm going to be honest with you.
And the quarterfinals games, there's only 1 day set up, so I actually wrote those down. There's only 1 day with 2 games. Everything else is one game a day.
That's all I'm going to say.
Is France Morocco on July 9th tomorrow, Spain Belgium on July 10th. Norway, England, and Argentina, Switzerland both take place on July 11th, and those are the only 2 days. The only day that we have 2 games in one.
Rough. I hate that, but I've been loving it every second of it. And by the time we have our next show, I believe the World Cup final may be like around the corner, or at least
Yeah,
like,
I think it's going to be getting set. We'll
we'll
be
set as
just
we're recording.
just before or just after the semifinals when we record next.
So I am ecstatic to see these last couple of days, and I mean, like, I don't know about you, like obviously I have a little bit of soccer background, not as much as not or you don't have as much as I do, but like I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I know our country has thoroughly enjoyed it, and I even got like a mini soccer ball that I've been pissing off my neighbors by rolling around my apartment, just trying to do stupid shit with. It's been so much fun. I love the World Cup, and this has really, really been the best. And I will stand on this fact: the U.S. did not fail us. Okay, we were not as good as we thought we were, but they did not fail us. Is all I'm going to say.
We were Penn State with James Franklin as the head coach. We beat the teams we were supposed to beat. As soon as you got that top 10 matchup, you turtled, like I said, you turtled harder than France in a global conflict.
We were who we thought we were. Let me put that out there. The lights were too bright.
You want to crown them, then crown their ass. Come at me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I thought we were just doing sports rants at that point. Enjoy, everybody. Episode 281. Make sure you're following, subscribed, all that great stuff. Check out All Gloves Off Sports Media and all the other shows on this great network under this banner. For myself, Jimmy Pilato, my co-host Niko Bryant, episode 281. We will see you next week.
Peace.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here